And here we are. Hello, everyone. We
We're
are
only 15 minutes late.
Yeah, I mean that's like half of an FNT late, so it could be worse, right? We'll get there one day. We'll be half an hour late, maybe next week. But for this week, it's just the 15 minutes because we have a new producer. We have a BagFace with us today, who has been doing some nice stuff with the slides. And being that he is a new producer, we have been ritually pegging him behind the scenes, which is how we initiate all of the people that we bring on.
Enjoyed it.
I know you did because I heard the noises. And we have some stuff to be talking about this week. We have some slides, we have some guests, usual thing. It's coming up for the end of January, so in theory there'll be more interesting shit to talk about next week. But until then, we have whatever we have this week. Yeah, I guess we can kick off. What comes up first?
Yeah, what does come up first? Let me get this sucker going. I believe we are discussing the most anticipated and least anticipated movies of the year. And we actually do have some slides for it, which is amazing. And I selected these because there's such a massive list and we didn't have time. But if anyone actually has anything to add, please feel free as we go. First things first,
though, it was a tricky one, right? Because like the instruction behind the scenes was select your top 5 most anticipated and top 5 least anticipated movies of 2025. Cynic failed this challenge immediately by selecting 6 anticipated movies.
I think I selected like 9.
Okay. And then we had the conversation saying, well, what do we mean by anticipated? Do we mean that we expect them to be good, or do we mean that we expect them to be so bad that we all get really rich, which is my usual metric for judging things on the internet these days? I think Cynic went with the good old-fashioned, I actually think these might be good list, so we'll see what his judgment's like.
Yep, I'm the one who selected these. This is honestly just my personal list. I said, fuck it, I don't know if Platoon is interested in this. Probably not, but my first on the list of anticipated movies that I hope it's going to be good is the Mission Impossible movie. I don't even remember what it's actually... Isn't it Final Reckoning or something along those lines?
They changed the name a couple times now this point, right? So
yeah, right now it's the Final Reckoning because they want to promote it as the final Mission Impossible.
Oh.
But the last film was Dead Reckoning Part 1. So it's just going to be Part 1. And then
that's it.
He comes back and then there's a Dead Reckoning 2 after the Final Reckoning. There we go. They got it all worked out. I didn't see the last movie at all, so I was it okay? Was it good?
No, that's probably why. Yeah. That's why they've changed the title. They called it Dead Reckoning Part 1. It bombed, or it didn't do well. It wasn't particularly good. And then they thought, shit, how do we are we tied into calling the next one Part 2? Because no one wants that. No, we can change it. So now there is a Part 1. There is no Part 2, but there is something called the Final Reckoning, which apparently will be really exciting. But you still have to watch Part 1 to understand all of the many plot holes that will make this movie redundant. The big open questions, like there's some weird coffin, I think, that the guy, they just randomly throw it in there toward like the final act of the movie. There is a coffin that he communes with, and there's an evil AI that may or may not be in the coffin, which is bizarre. And they're still after the key, aren't they? Because the key went down with the Russian submarine, but the key was also made by the Russians, and nobody thought to just ask the Russians to make a new one, because if they did that, there wouldn't be a film. So lots of interesting things to resolve in the Final Reckoning.
Isn't this the second time a Tom Cruise movie is essentially... Like, what they're going to do is go back and rename whatever Dead Reckoning Part 1 to whatever the fuck. Probably just Dead Reckoning. And what was the other movie that happened with? Isn't it? I can't even remember the real title now. It's like Live, Die, Repeat.
Oh, Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah, it was called Edge of Tomorrow, which is a terrible name for a movie, which is probably why they just call it Live, Die, Repeat now.
Great movie, though.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Very good movie. Yeah, for sure.
The sequel, they're going with the Live, Die, Repeat title, though, as last I heard. So.
Yeah, someone said Dead Retconning. That's, yeah.
Has this movie come out on like Blu-ray and everything already? Did they rename it on the physical releases, or does it?
Well, I'm sure on digital it's completely been renamed.
Yeah.
You know how they'll fucking update movies with CGI and everything too. Very easy to just take out the name. But yeah, I was actually really surprised that the last one underperformed, and because I enjoyed it so much, maybe it was just the experience of seeing it in IMAX. Really, I thought that was a lot of fun. Plot holes aplenty, but still a good experience. And I thought that was going to translate, and it didn't. It did not perform very well at the box office, so it's probably why. And this one was already, in production, so there was no way they were going to halt all the money they've invested in this. There was no way they were going to halt production on it. So
this was the movie that was this was the one that was a victim of Barbenheimer, right? It came out last summer.
Well, that's the excuse they use.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I think, Mission Impossible has just never been a hyper successful franchise. And I think the biggest problem was the budget for these movies, because COVID really drove up the budget. And so it had a lot of money to have to recoup in order to be successful. And it just didn't come close, I don't think.
Interesting. All right.
But still, Mission Impossible movies as a through line are pretty good, in my opinion. I think there are a lot of, they're like the spy version of Fast and Furious. You know what I mean? It's not really, they're not that good.
Now I'm confused because you began that sentence with pretty good, and then you said they're like the Fast and Furious, and which
a lot of people enjoy those movies, Platoon. Okay, a lot of people enjoy them.
You're not wanting to see Dead Reckoning though by comparing it to Fast. I gave up on Fast and Furious after 2 movies, so I've already seen 3 Mission Impossibles. I'm not going to bother now at this point.
Well, which ones have you seen? 1 through 3?
1, 2, and the Henry Cavill one, because of course.
Fallout, which I think is the best one, right? Fallout.
That was definitely the best one. Yeah.
It was very good movie. I was surprised by that one. I almost wish they didn't kill off Henry Cavill's character, not because of the eye candy, but because he could have been a good villain to carry through into another movie. But it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. The worst one of this was definitely Mission Impossible 2. That movie was terrible. It was directed by
James Wan?
Chat? Yeah. Oh yeah.
One of the Asian directors.
One of the Asian guys. Oh god. But it is coming out finally, after I think they were filming these like back to back or at the same time, weren't they?
Yes, they were.
Oh, it was correct. I got the right one. I said woo, and I don't even know these movies very well. So it's BagFace is the racist one for getting the wrong Asian name.
Oh fuck.
All right. So I guess, is there any collective hype aside from Cynic for
just me?
Yeah.
I was the one who picked these. I bet there's gonna be mostly just me with the hype for like half of these movies. So but that's okay.
But it was kind of the common thing, because I looked down the list and the only ones, like, I was sort of left for my top 5 most anticipated movies, if we're going by the good metric, would just be any of the movies I haven't heard of, because all of the movies on the list that I've heard of are things like Jurassic World, whatever the next one is, Avatar, whatever the next one is. It's like all the ones I've heard of just do not fill me with any confidence, with the exception of one that's coming up later, Superman, probably. And that's not confidence, that's just intrigue.
Hope.
Yeah, there's like only 4 on this list that I'm really interested in, to be honest. Unironically, I think Captain America will be the best superhero movie of the year.
Really?
I'm putting that out in the sphere. Okay. No, it's not because it will be good. It's because the bar is so low for a half decent superhero movie that somehow Captain America, so like everything else would be like a 2 or 3 out of 10. And then Captain America 4 will be like a 3.5 out of 10. It'll be like, by that smidge, it'll be the best superhero movie of 2025.
Huh. I think at least, I think you're wrong here.
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I will put down pesos on this right now.
That's nothing. Pesos isn't real money.
Probably more valuable than the Canadian dollar right now.
That's true.
It might be. Yeah, but as far as Mission Impossible goes, because it's the final one, and I think as a through line, these movies have been generally pretty fun to watch. I hope it lives up to the hype. At least as like the last movie had some cool action sequences, and that's what they're known for. Yeah.
And her assets.
That's true. Those will be present, which you can't complain about. that'll be there. Tom Cruise is getting up there in age. I think he's like 60-something.
He's in his 60s.
Yeah.
I didn't immediately even recognize him from the photo that's on the screen.
I didn't either. I was like, who is this BagFace? I was like, you got the wrong guy.
They stopped de-aging him for the posters.
That's what adrenochrome does for you.
In the trailers, he's starting to actually look his age. Is definitely catching up to him. It's so odd to see him in this movie and see what he looks like in the first Mission Impossible. He looks like a child in that movie in comparison.
It'll be interesting to see what he does next, though, because you've got other actors in sort of the same age range who were known for being quite action-oriented, but then aged out and tried to expand. Like Brad Pitt's done a few different types of movie, and I'd be interested to see if Tom Cruise goes out of the action genre after this movie, because he looks like he's getting too old for it. Whether
he could he could do a Days of Thunder sequel. Because Brad Pitt's in that F1 movie, and it's still an action movie, but all you got to do is sit in a car. I'm not of the mind that if you are a race car driver, you're an athlete, but that's just me.
Well, couldn't he come back as a Les Grossman in a Tropic Thunder?
Oh, yeah.
He could, yeah.
He could, for sure.
I think he'll probably just tone down the action, because I think he's got 2 or 3 projects lined up with Doug Liman. So aside from the Edge of Tomorrow sequel, I think he signed on for 1 or 2 other projects with him, but those weren't as like physically intensive as the Mission Impossible movies, right? Yeah, I'd be curious what he does next, because that's all I see him as now, an action star. Because when he was a dramatic actor, I was like, yeah, you were kind of cool as a retard in that one movie, but that's about it.
What movie was that?
Was it Rain Man?
All of them.
Was that?
He wasn't
no,
the retard.
no, the oh god, no, not Rain Man. The
Jerry Maguire.
Thank you, Jerry Maguire. Thank you. Wasn't he kind of retarded in that movie?
I only know that because it's a Tom Cruise movie title. I know the name of it. I don't think he played a retard in that movie.
He plays a sports agent in Jerry Maguire.
That's the same thing.
Yeah, he has moved past his dramatic roles, huh? He's come a long way since he was, I don't know, his best performance in Magnolia in 1999. A long ass time ago now.
Isn't it sad how all of our action stars are like 60 minimum age?
Yeah.
Don't we?
Yep, Liam Neeson.
We got Glenn Powell, okay?
Yeah.
He's my boy. He's coming.
We've got one more, don't we? Does Ryan Gosling count as no, he's not really an action star.
He did pretty good in that Stuntman movie.
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling was young Hercules, so he counts as an action star, if anyone remembers that show.
Wait, he was in Ryan Gosling was in Drive. That was a pretty badass role.
That was, yeah. Really, but that wasn't really action, was it?
It was like a thriller, but there was some action.
Yeah. Oh,
all right.
Gosh.
I'm going to change the slide now.
Yes.
Okay.
Do it.
Okay.
All right.
Ooh.
Oh, my one comment on the last one was the first Fast and the Furious movie was actually good. A lot of people forget. It was.
No, it was not as bad. I did not like that movie.
The first one is like a fine movie. It's not like
it's fine.
Or anything, but yeah, it is.
Ruled you down from good to fine.
Yes. It literally becomes a meme towards the rest of the franchise. So, but like, I still defend that first one. That's my thoughts on that.
Fair enough. It's definitely the most grounded out of all those pieces of shit.
Well, it's grounded. They go to space.
Yeah, that movie series is not it.
I have a question about this one. How does this, just premise-wise, not break literally the entire franchise?
It's a prequel to the original Alien movie.
And there is a facehugger going to Earth, so I repeat my question. How does this not break literally everything in the franchise?
I thought this was going to be more in line with AVP because that's separate from the main timeline, and it would make more sense here because coming to Earth, right?
Yeah, are Men in Black involved and they just mind wipe the entire Earth after the series is over? Like, how the fuck does it not break canon?
I could see it being contained. Like, it happens in a very small area. The government kind of covers it up and no one really knows what happened.
Like Africa?
Yeah, where does it take place?
There's just aliens in Africa, and they go, well, it's always a shithole, so we don't really know.
It does look like the Earth that we see there. That is Africa, isn't it? I mean, my eyes are slightly buggered, but it looks like Africa.
Close.
Yep.
Like somewhere in the middle of the Sahara Desert, there's a xenomorph just hanging out.
Funny if the people on it are so racist, they can't tell the difference between an African and a xenomorph. They're so racist.
Xenomorph will be chased by ice.
I'm a little excited for this, but like I also acknowledge that the Alien franchise hasn't really churned out anything good since Aliens, but like I'll still watch it because I like the IP. So like I like Timothy Oliphant. I think he's a solid actor. He usually picks
he's awesome.
solid projects. So
well, it really depends what they're taking inspiration from. Like if they learn from District 9, they might be able to pull something off. But I don't know. It's hard to have faith in this franchise after Romulus. It just feels like they have the wrong ideas.
Romulus was the tipping point, not anything before that.
Not Resurrection.
Oh, I didn't say I had like much faith before that. Prometheus and Covenant are fucking garbage. But Romulus, for me, I thought was at least going to be entertaining, like some slight return to form. And it was, in my opinion, the worst one. So, like, yeah, I thought they would have learned something from Prometheus and Covenant.
I keep seeing adverts for Romulus on TV at the moment, which are billing it, unironically, as the best Alien movie since Ridley Scott's original. So, like, this is a world in which Aliens doesn't exist, according to television adverts in this country. Yeah, I mean, even Alien 3 is better, and that's a very wacky movie. But I was just looking at the premise for this. There's not a huge amount, I don't think, known about it, except that, yes, there is a mysterious ship. It crashes on Earth. A female lead character and a group of rugged Marines go after it. So, like, your standard Alien premise again, but on Earth this time, which is broken. Maybe they'll have to find some way of covering it up. I'm not. I've always liked the idea of sending an alien back to Earth, but as a sequel, and also minded of the fact that we've done it twice in the AVP films, and they both sucked all kinds of balls. So, like,
is there any franchise that's had more goodwill and faith put toward it just because of the first 2 films in the franchise, and then 40 years on, it's just been shit ever since? But
Predator.
Terminator, Predator. Like you can go through the whole list. There's so many, you know. Like one of the things we talked about a lot on Niat stream when we went through the Predator films was just the goodwill that the fan base has. They're willing to follow through all these crappy movies just because the concept of the original one was so fantastic. We're just hoping you can get like an ounce of that again, and just constantly being disappointed.
To be fair, we got an ounce of it. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, to be fair, we got an ounce of it back with Predators. That wasn't a stellar movie, but then I feel
like I need to rewatch that one after rewatching Prey, because I thought Prey was the second best one until I rewatched it, and like
we know how that went.
Yeah, Prey is one of the worst rewatching experiences ever. It's just terrible. Yeah, so I might
Predator 2 is pretty fun. It's not a very good movie, and it's definitely inferior compared to the original, but I still can watch that film and enjoy it.
That's fair. I didn't like Predator 2. I thought it was too campy. It was too cheesy. It went full Hollywood. It kind of abandons a lot of what the first movie does. But yeah, I can get, just like for turn your brain off, like see what a Predator would be like in a city. I get where you're coming from.
It was an interesting watch because it was the first one I ever saw when I was a kid out of the franchise. And then when I saw the original Predator, I was like, oh, this is what a good Predator movie is. Oh wow. But as far as, so you think that like Terminator and Predator have more goodwill than the Alien franchise even? Because I think like Predator as a franchise has had at least more decent films in its catalog than Alien ever has.
No, because Alien and Aliens are both top tier. Like those are 9 out of 10 films, right? Yeah. Whereas with the Predator franchise, there's only really one good movie. Terminator, there's only two good movies, right? Terminator 1 and Terminator 2. I guess if you go to like Star Wars, there's the original trilogy for most people.
Even then, I'd say only 2 of those are genuinely good.
2.5. 2.5. 2.5 maybe.
Indiana Jones had only like 2 good movies if you look at that franchise. So, but like people still turn out for all of those franchises.
Did they turn out for Dial of Destiny? I thought that shit bombed out the face.
No, they didn't turn out for that. But like
that's
people
sort of similar to the Terminator reaction. Whenever James Cameron now announces another new Terminator film, the almost universal response is, for fuck's sake, why are you still doing this? Whereas with Alien, to go back to that point, yeah, there is still some sort of like type of excitement for when like Romulus is announced, and even this, even in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, you could do interesting things with it. Just please don't ruin everything. So there is a lot of latent goodwill. I know the director has said as well, like he wants to do slightly more interesting things with the xenomorph in it, which I'm all for, because I think that's one of the most interesting things that never really gets properly utilized in any of the movies, is how it adapts certain characteristics of the host animal that the facehugger attaches to. Mm-hmm. And the director has said that while keeping the essential silhouette the same, he wants to lean into some more sort of creativity and find new ways to make that horrifying, which is kind of the bread and butter DNA stuff of a good Alien movie, which is why we don't see any of it from Prometheus. That's intriguing. I want it to be good. It would be nice if it was good.
Ridley has been quoted as saying that he doesn't think the xenomorph is scary anymore after years of exposure. And for me, I'm just like, that's a skill issue, bro. Like you can legit. This is what's one of the most incredible creatures ever created. The concept is like perfect. It comes down to writing and passion, and like just you have to find the creative idea to bring this back to the forefront.
Well, you should just put Michael Jackson on the ship. That'd be creepy. Just see him moonwalking past.
Yeah, that's the solution.
Those are the habits that will adapt.
It's the same thing that pisses me off with Jurassic Park. Like the fact that they can't make dinosaurs scary anymore. They have to have genetically engineered dinosaurs with laser beams and shit. It's stupid, you know?
So fucking crazy. It's the Austin Powers meme. It literally
it's come to life. And it's just frustrating. I think you can do so much with this creature.
I'm just saying, if you heard a hee in the middle of the ship, you'd be terrified.
What was that?
It would be more scary than a traditional Alien movie. So a team of kids up on a space station. It's Michael Jackson's the one hunting them.
Past the bullets.
Oh man.
Well, that's why it's here though, because I like Alien. Yeah, I like the first 2 Aliens a lot. So that's why I put it in the goddamn, I hope it's a good list. That's why it's here.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
Do you think they'll have people on Alien Earth go, they're just as good as regular people? And it's like, they're just our friends. And he just sticks them out through the head.
They're going to try to like humanize them. And like, they're not, you know.
God.
You have to leave them as a terrifying creature and like respect that premise. But they're not. They're going to do some modern bullshit.
They're people too. As they rip your head off.
Next up was on my list that I chose for everybody, Fantastic Four. I really hope this is good as well.
So does Marvel, because they really need it to be. Have you seen the full title for the movie?
It's
Fantastic Four: First Steps.
First Steps, which is like, it's a bit of a lame title, and also I see what you're trying to do there. It's very childish, and I think what they're really, really trying to do is tell everyone that you can get into this as like a standalone. It's you're effectively your first introduction to a new, at least, branch of the franchise, so you don't have to worry if you skipped sensibly everything Marvel has shat out for the last 5 years. You will still be able to understand this movie, which I think is what they're angling for. But it's probably not healthy that a franchise they have tried several times and has failed several times is now one of their biggest hopes to not fail. It will be interesting. I'm with you. I think it would be great if this were successful, but it never has been, and
never been super popular. Like not even like the cartoons or anything. Like the X-Men was super popular in the 90s. The Avengers had their time with the MCU and everything, but there's never been a time where the Fantastic Four were in the forefront that I can even think of.
The Fantastic Four kind of remind me of Superman, because I feel like everyone knows who Superman is. Not everyone knows who Fantastic Four is on that level, but he's just never really been that popular. His movies don't make $1 billion. They had to put Batman in the sequel to Man of Steel and it still didn't crack $1 billion.
Can I ask a question if any of you guys are like familiar with like the comic lore or anything? But aside from, because I know Fantastic Four has some really overpowered villains that the MCU can take advantage of, but like what other doors does introducing these characters into the MCU offer the whole universe? Like what else can they explore in film with the Fantastic Four?
Well, like you mentioned, the villains they're really good in the right hands. I always thought Fantastic Four was cringe as fuck. I avoided their comics like the plague, but a writer I enjoy, he got his hands on them like 15 years ago. His name's Jonathan Hickman, and he's kind of the guy that's written all the comic books that they're trying to adapt at this point, like the Secret Wars one coming up. That is going to be his version of Secret Wars that he did about 10 years ago. And he got his hands on Fantastic Four, and he made Doctor Doom, in my opinion, the most badass, coolest, nuanced villain in comic book lore. He really showed me why that character is there's so much depth to him. And if they are following Jonathan Hickman's path, it would be his Fantastic Four they're trying to adapt, at least, in some capacity, to lead into his Secret Wars.
Haven't they made Silver Surfer a girl?
Yep.
Yeah. So, one step back.
There you go.
Is that an iteration of the Silver Surfer, or is it the actual Silver Surfer?
No, there was one fucking page of one like random comic book where there was a female Silver Surfer once.
And they found that, and they're going to use that as, of course, that's how it is.
That'll be the
anyone who
shield
knows
for why it's okay.
Anyone who's familiar with Silver Surfer knows it's a dude. It's just like, and they even had him in the movie in one of the it was like 15 years ago. One of the just
Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Yeah, that one. I don't remember. It was probably shit, but I remember enjoying watching.
It was dog shit.
Yeah,
dog shit. He was voiced by Morpheus.
He is a really cool character, though.
Okay.
And like I was gonna say about Doctor Doom, all you need to know about him is Vader was like Doctor Doom was one of the inspirations for Vader. Am I correct? Is that how it went?
Not
it
sure.
Looks about right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's that's true. But someone in the chat correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, that's
the visual test.
He's a fantastic character and so much potential with him. But I don't know, man. I've like I said, like Cynic said, I've never really been a fan of these guys. They've always come off kind of lame to me. Where the Avengers really earned their position,
Gotcha.
Isn't Doom in the Avengers film played by Robbie Downey Jr.?
Yes. Well, I mean that apparently that's a variation. Like my husband was trying to explain this to me because he's a huge Doctor Doom fan, and it's just like it's an iteration that they're probably using Robert Downey Jr. for, and that's not going to be the actual Doctor Doom that you see for the majority of the MCU.
Stupid.
Yeah, like what are we doing here? It's just
I thought they'd signed Robert Downey Jr. for multiple films though, because they've given him like a truckload of money and his own private airplane. So I would be surprised if they didn't use him in that role for a while.
Well, my thinking was they sign him back on because then they can have Iron Man come back for a few movies on top of that.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, like
of course, it's just a cheat code to bring him back.
Yeah.
Right. I fucking called this 2 years ago. I called this that they're going to they were going to figure out a way to get Iron Man and Captain America back, and they are. There's no way they're going to have Chris Evans and RDJ in a movie and not have them play their most iconic roles also.
This means I've been like for 5 years now, even longer than that. I've been like seeing online discussions about this is what you do. You wait 5 years, you bring RDJ back, and you make $1 billion. We all knew that was going to happen. I just thought they would have a better plan than this. Like what? Like,
well, the reason why they brought him back. The reason why they brought him back is because what's his face, the Kang, wouldn't stop hitting his girlfriend.
Have you seen the video of him getting chased through the street? Like there's there's a video of them like fighting in the street, and he runs away, and you see this girl chase him down the block. For some reason, there's cameras following them all the way. It's hilarious. Someone
finds like the South Park thing where Tiger Woods gets chased by his girlfriend, where like wielding a golf club. It's basically that.
Yes, it's footage. You legit see her struggle to catch. There's no way she's catching his big black ass. No way. Like he's out, man. It's so fucking funny. Someone find that footage, man. Oh man.
I just like the way Kevin Feige said that was the plan. Listen, Kang's gonna hit his girlfriend, then we get Robbie Downey Jr. in.
Can you imagine like all the plans they had with Kang? They had like 17 versions of this dude, and then he comes up and starts smacking his girlfriend and screws.
It's the post-credit scene for, isn't it? The post-credits for Ant-Man 3 is like the whole multiverse of the Council of Kangs or whatever the fuck that is.
Yeah,
like so many of them, and none of them can now be used because they can't recast him for some reason.
They picked the wrong variant. They picked the one that's an abuser.
And if anyone saw Loki season 2, like there's at least I at least 4 or 5 different performances from Kang in just that show alone, and they're all terrible. Like he's just like, I don't know what they were thinking with this approach. Like Clown Kang, Chad Kang, Goofy Kang. Like
well, they decided to make the next big multiversal anchor being villain a guy who dies and gets beaten in all kinds of embarrassing ways in every single instance we see him, culminating with him being beaten by fucking ants.
Ants.
Like, way to big up communist ants, the worst kind of ants. Way to big up like your next big threat. So it's fine. Bugs will take care of him.
Yeah, you know, that's funny. Hank Pym said, "Oh, I know communism's a bad word, but you got to look at all these ants and how good they have it."
It's insane, man. That movie.
He wants us to fucking be bugs.
You would think they learned from Kylo not to completely shit on your villain in like the first movie, and to do it again in the second one. Like, what are you gonna do by then? Like Kang.
So
the advantage they have with Robert Downey Jr. coming back as Dr. Doom or whatever the fuck his character's name is, that they won't. I don't think they'll make that mistake again, because I don't think he would allow them to make his character that pathetic.
Yeah.
So the best case scenario, and it's still the cheap scenario where they just monetize a well-known name because they've run out of ideas, is that he plays a long-running villain who is a really serious threat on the level of Thanos, portrayed as competently as Thanos, and that at least could tie things together. The even more worst case scenario is going to be that they make him Iron Man again, and the end of the multiverse arc, when it will be like they'll some fucking bullshit device which closes the multiversal time travel portal dynamic, and he sacrifices himself as Iron Man to close and save all of the universes, and it will be like Endgame all over again. I can see them doing that because that's so cheap.
Ruin everything that they have achieved in Endgame, because for all the faults of Endgame, Tony's story is decently intact. A lot of people at least enjoyed like his part of it. If you're gonna shit on that, you're just completely out of touch with reality. Like, that dude built this for you. Don't screw up his story.
Isn't insane. Chris Evans possibly coming back as evil Captain America?
He's coming back. He's coming back no matter what, because what has he done since? Like, Robert RDJ, didn't he win an Oscar? And what
he did. So I feel like that freed Robert Downey Jr. to just be like, all right, I'm gonna make a lot of fucking money now. That's my plan. I have my respect because I have my Oscar, and I'm moving back on.
Exactly.
Backwards rather.
And what did Chris do? He did Lightyear or something, and like
Red One, guys. Great movie.
He was also in those amazing Rian Johnson Knives Out movies, wasn't he?
Yes.
Well, he was in one of them.
He was actually fun in the first one. He was the only fun part of the first one, the acting. Like, I do like him cussing out the room, but that movie is so stupid. Ryan is
yes.
So is there? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I think he's a great Captain America, but other than that, he's an okay actor.
No, I totally agree. Is there? So I know this takes place in like the 60s, but is there any other plot premise available for Fantastic Four?
Galactus is in it.
That's it.
Pretty much. That's all I know.
Okay, bit premature to introduce Galactus that soon, isn't it?
How are you going to talk to him? He's fucking massive.
Like, hey.
Just he seems like a villain you want to hang on to for a little bit longer.
Yeah, they better not screw that up, because he is an awesome character.
He's going to look weird in his giant chair.
Yeah. Better question is, when is the Pedro fatigue gonna kick in for people? Because I like, Drinker wants to slit this guy's throat. Like there's so many people that are just done.
Well, as soon as this image came on screen, there was someone in chat who just said, "Oh, for fuck's sake, is that Pedro again? Jesus Christ!" Which I think is a lot of people's response at this point. He's not a bad actor. It's just he's in everything.
Oberyn and Max Power in Wonder Woman 1984, like, I'd say those are my two favorite performances of his, and he is really talented. They're just pushing him way too much, and it's like, I think he's harming himself with that. I hope he's making money, good for him, but I think he's
why is it in Hollywood they always say we need more diversity, but if you're Latin, you only have like 2 actors.
It's crazy. No, they have Lucy Liu and Michelle Yeoh if you're Asian.
Yeah, Asian. Yeah, you've got 2 more. You got.
We have Aquafina. We have Aquafina for the Asians
Christ.
as well. Yeah.
I saw her and John Cena in a comedy, is what it was called Money Shot.
It was so bad. Oh my goodness.
Have you seen it?
Yes, I have. I wanted to tear my face off like 20 minutes into the film. I lost the controller, so I couldn't actually turn the TV off. So I accidentally watched it. You accidentally watched a 90-minute movie.
Well, I looked around the house. I kept walking in and out the room, and I went, for fuck's sake, is this still going?
So there's no hype for Fantastic Four then for anyone but Cynic.
Probably not. It sounds like it's one of those. I would like it to be good. Apparently, it's not actually the 60s. It's a 1960s inspired retro futuristic Earth, which you can do fun things with. I like that aesthetic. And Galactus is in it, and yeah, so it's technically the future, but it looks like the past. So it's a little bit like
this universe or another one.
It's going to be another universe. So at some point in the medium-term future, they'll find a way to cross them over, probably along with the X-Men if they start in a new universe as well. So there'll be that will be the Crisis on Secret Invasion of Earth or whatever the fuck it's called.
So this is the new universe everyone's moving over to.
Either that or everyone moves over from these new universes into our universe, but there will definitely be some.
Are they going to use the one they showed at the end of the Marvels, like where they showed the X-Men? Are they going to be in that universe? Or
well,
like,
I
don't even know where
in theory, yes, right? Because Monica Rambeau yeets herself in this universe for no reason to close the portal that she could close from either side, but she decides that she doesn't want to. She's in a new universe where she meets her mum, who isn't her mum because it's some X-Men derivative character I don't know the name of, and Beast is in it. So that's a different universe, which I assume is a different one again from Fantastic Four. They might be the same, but I don't think they are. And I lose track after 4 or 5 universes, to be honest.
Wasn't the whole point like one of the? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jedi.
No, just one quick comment. It's just the fact that we're going into these films and we don't even know what fucking universe they're in. Like, this is when you've lost the plot. It's just what happens to just a knife fight in the street with Bucky and Cap. It's just simple, man. Simple. Take it back to the basics, street level. I'm tired. I'm so tired.
That was one of the things that Deadpool and Wolverine did, right? It was like that bottleneck. So it's like, oh, here's like kind of the end point now of everything you've seen so far. We're going to be the bottleneck. And now you can see, because there were all those screens that showed the different universes, right? And the different timelines. So isn't the whole point now that you can do anything and anything is possible or real or still happening? You can have any universe happen in all of these movies, and they really only have to like cross paths when they decide to do an Avengers film.
Pretty much.
That's what's gonna happen.
But the main problem is that Loki season 2, Doctor Strange and Doctor Strange Mom, and I think Endgame all have different rules for how the multiverse work, including incursions and a whole bunch of horse shit. It'll hurt your brain to even.
I gave up on Loki season 2, but didn't Loki recreate? Because there's like they invent Loki season 1 invents this sacred timeline, and then that gets broken. But doesn't he remake it at the end of Loki season 2 or something?
He becomes a tree. And he's like in the middle. He's the center of the universe, and he's like the most important person in all of Marvel. He's like all timelines come out of his ass. He's just he's just
a giant battery for the universe.
It's so. I would highly recommend the EFAP TV on like everyone skipped Loki season 2, but we did our best to try to break down what the fuck was going on.
But it does mean, right, if we find Loki and we kill him, then this all ends because he is the tree at the center of it all. So at least there's one very quick and efficient way to finish everything. I hope they do that.
Are the timelines just his pubes? You just move from one hair to the other.
Pretty much.
That's it. That's where we're at.
Because that's what it feels like.
Run the fucking MCU.
That means that the TVA's job. The TVA's job is literally then to prune his pubes, isn't it? It's like they go around pruning shit, and it's all his pubic hair. So
he's beyond the TVA at this point. Like he's legit. Like I don't even know how to describe that. It's at a point where you stop caring about trying to understand it, and you just
our timeline is in his ass.
Yeah,
with the ass hair of Loki. That's how shit everything is.
See, it sounds like he's talking shit, but it's a pretty accurate description of what's going on right now. It makes no fucking sense.
So no excitement for Fantastic Four.
0.
I hope it's good, but odds are not good.
Yes.
What was next?
We're gonna take a little break and read some super chats really quick.
Oh, that's next. Okay.
Woo. All right. I got some from pre-show, and then we'll go through them all up until the most recent.
Okay. TSUP is a better name, said Joshua Perry. Member for 3 months.
What does BSUP stand for?
It was a placeholder name because we didn't have a name, and so we jokingly called it the best show in the universe, probably, so we didn't get sued by some other guy who had a show called the best show in the universe. And then we couldn't come up with a better name, so it just kind of stuck. I don't know what the T stands for in T-Sub, though.
I don't either.
The show of the universe, probably. There you
go. Joke of all butts for something 50-somethings. Mirror, mirror on the wall. What will be the biggest flop of all? Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who is the gayest of them all? Also, hi Vex, you brown person. That's it.
Hi guys. Hi Chad. I see you guys. I'm waving at you.
Oh God.
I mean, is it going to be Snow White? Is that the answer to biggest flop of all?
Yeah.
Or is it going to be...
No,
Captain America.
Captain America will be.
Monetarily, it's got to be, yeah, because it's so expensive. Can't really see anything beating that for losses.
No.
And after the clip I saw of Superman today and him spinning around looking like AI mush, I'm not really sure if that movie is going to be successful either. Like maybe it's going to be successful financially, but like there's so much riding on it in terms of the longevity of the fan base. Not sure how they're going to pull it off.
It's true. I would like to take title of gayest of them all. Sorry, Platoon.
I'll reclaim it one day.
Richard Shaft, member for 17 months. God damn. We're anticipating movies. There's a little bit of optimism. You got to have the other side of that cynical coin, you know?
Yeah, we still like movies.
Yeah, we still enjoy them. That's why we're doing it.
All the ones that have come up so far, we've concluded by saying, so yeah, no one's really excited for this one, are they?
It's like being a war reporter going, oh yeah, more dead. No war.
I will say I am cautiously optimistic about Fantastic Four. I really would like to see a good F4 movie, but yeah. Toivo Korhonen.
Have we? Like a trailer?
No, nothing. This is it. And it's just like it's a draw.
Probably a more interesting question would be if you could pick one of the three to actually be great, which would you want? Superman, Cap, or Fantastic Four?
I'm a Marvel fan, so Fantastic Four. I think there's a lot riding on it. Not as much as Superman, but I'm more of a Marvel guy. So
I feel so bad for Falcon for him getting thrown into this position that's just doomed from the start. That I almost want this movie to be good just for his sake, because he's done his work as Falcon for a decade in the MCU, and like waiting for these opportunities now, and this is the fact that this is what they're giving him. Black Falcon. As soon as I heard that in the show, I was out. I was just flying away from that show.
I don't get how it is. I'm just going to download the Captain Falcon soundboard from all the Smash Brothers games, and just every time he's on the screen, that's going to be going out. Show your moves.
I feel like everyone's putting in that video. Everyone's putting those clips in their video shape.
Oh yes.
No problem. It's just it's got to be done.
Toivo Korhonen for 10 fake monies. Thanks to modern editing techniques, we can use existing footage from several rewrites to complete the film without Chris Evans. Watch Captain America 4 playing seamless, huh?
Yeah.
Christy and Solace for two more fake dollars. Thanks for all your recent content, Little Platoon.
You're welcome. Although by recent, I haven't put anything out for like a month and a half, so it's getting less and less recent as time passes. But there'll be more one day.
This next one isn't a super chat, but I wanted to bring it up so Cynic could do a nice shout out to himself.
Oh, nice. Tay for no monies, but that's good. Hey, Cynic, my bro and I really enjoy your wrestling channel. Any predictions for the Royal Rumble? Yeah, thank you so much. I'm trying to get that off the ground. And predictions for the Rumble. I'd love to see CM Punk win, but he probably is going to win Elimination Chamber, I think. I think this year's Rumble is really up in the air. As far as the women's Rumble, I think Liv Morgan is actually going to win it. So, yeah. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. Really appreciate it.
You actually watch the women's wrestling?
Well, if I'm gonna review it, I kind of.
Okay. You have to.
Nothing will ever top the Attitude Era for me. That's a place in my childhood that I can't even believe existed.
It is. It is amazing. Have you ever gone and watched back any of it?
Because of course. Mankind, it's for even for people who have no interest in wrestling and think it's cringe. Watching the guys from the '90s talk about their matches and seeing the clips and like getting the full picture back together, it's actually really it's just even the Daredevil aspect of it, like the stunts. Like even if you like Jackass, you can appreciate people like Mankind. Like there's only so much of it you can fake. You know what I mean? And the people who were willing to put their bodies on the line to make it as real as possible for little kids like me at the time, like legends. So yeah.
And right now in the modern era, the person who's running it is from the Attitude Era. Triple H. People, if you've ever heard of wrestling, you probably know that name. And he's really revealing a lot of behind the scenes stuff because he wants everyone to appreciate it as an art form and not as like as it was looked at before, where it's like, oh, is it fake? And everyone knows for a fact it's fake. So it gives everyone an opportunity to act like they're, above wrestling or whatever. And he's trying to squash all that now. Like he reveals behind the scenes stuff of how they create stories and how they create characters and how it all comes together. Then you can actually just, go ahead.
It's fake, but the best ones were the ones that can make you forget just for a split second, like keep you immersed enough in like from the performance, whether it was on the mic to like the whole combination. Like not everyone was able to do it, but they found a way to like tap into.
It's a select few who can do that. Like my favorite guy is CM Punk, and he does that. So but Thrill House for $2. She lemonade my snicket till the unfortunate event.
Who is that in reference to?
A series of unfortunate events.
I mean, but who is he saying that about?
Yeah,
Lemony.
Lemony
probably.
Also, Toivo let us know that his last super chat was a Simpsons reference. Sorry for not catching
that. Shit.
Toivo again for 20 monies. Rank these quotes from least cringe to ultra cringe. A, just don't be a dick.
That's Ant-Man.
Just don't be a dick. B, give me the meat and give it to me raw. Prince Durin. And C, now that's what I call an inner conflict. The 13th Doctor.
It's not even close if you understand the context for the Cassie one. Like she's that don't be a dick. Like, oh my god.
So
that's the worst on every conceivable level. They try and make this noble sacrificial death for MODOK, and they play it for comic relief because it's the emotional rubber band of Marvel. You're not actually allowed to feel things for anyone. It all has to be above it, witty, snooty, jeering kind of faux wit. It's crap. So that's the worst probably. And then I didn't see enough of the 13th Doctor. I'm assuming that's the Lady Doctor that everyone hated. So can't really say for that one. Give me the meat and give it to me raw is the funniest of the lines by some distance.
Yeah.
I like Durin. It's a shame he's in that show.
Yeah. And he was ruined in season 2.
Yeah, they screwed him up bad. How do you ruin? Like he had almost nothing to ruin, and they managed to ruin him. That's incredible.
Campbell Patterson for an ass $5. The guy who played Dr. Doom in Fantastic Four 2005 was my dad's high school bully. I can believe that.
He's so traumatized that he told you who his bully was.
Damn.
Fucking nerd.
Like he was a bully and he fucking made it. God damn that guy.
In 30 years' time, we'll be like someone somewhere will be saying, the guy who played Kang was the guy who. No, I'm not going to finish that joke. But, domestic abuse jokes. It's funny. Moving on.
Oh fuck. Tom waiting for $4.99 of real American money. The objectively greatest rapper ever, Motherfucker Doom, based his persona on Dr. Doom. And I don't know who Motherfucker Doom is.
You don't know who MF? Actually, I'm not surprised. You're Cynic.
Look at me.
Yeah.
I play guitar. They're over there.
He's fantastic. I feel like you'd like it.
I'm not opposed. I'm not in that genre.
I think it's great.
Platoon coming out. Oh, well, shit. Tom waiting for $4.99 more's monies. There's an alternate universe where Reaper has a southern accent. There is in this multiverse. Reaper, you want to try a southern accent?
No.
That was coming too.
It's fucking incoherent as it is.
David Gannon for $10. Hail panel. I wanted to get your take on this. Is the Jedi mind trick evil mind control or an ends justify the means tool for good? Our friends at Open Bar thought the latter.
How is it evil? What is evil mind control? Like, it depends on what you do with it. The Jedi clearly use it for good. Like, fucking the Death Stick scene is like my favorite Obi-Wan scene. Like, so it all depends on how you use your power. That's the point of power in the first place.
Yeah.
Well, is it evil? Like Obi-Wan, if he didn't use the mind trick, would have to cut his head off with a lightsaber.
Exactly. He saved lives by doing that, if anything.
Exactly.
Like, there are lots of ends justifying it. If you were a Jedi and you had Anne Frank in your loft and the Nazis came, and you could use a little mind trick to say she's not in the attic.
These are not the Jews you're looking for.
This is not the Jew you're looking for. then you're fine, right? It's not evil mind control. It's means to an end shit.
That's part of the reason the superhero genre will never completely ever die, even if it's not through just Marvel and DC, because the idea of an empowered person doing shit will always be interesting, and seeing what they do with their power is always going to be fascinating, like whether it's good or evil. Like, so even as simple as movies like What Women Want with Mel Gibson, like the power to read women's minds, that's fucking incredible. There's a lot of drama you can get out of that, so I'll always be interested.
All right, let's jump back into it.
All right, what's next? Daredevil. I really hope this is good.
One looks
and yeah, well, I don't know if anyone heard the controversy that has stirred up over the last couple days because of the fact that the director said that he actually essentially he didn't like the character moments in the original series, and he's trying to get away from that.
Are you okay?
I wish we could get the real quote, but it's alarming to say the least.
That is beyond a red flag, because the Punisher Daredevil scene is arguably the best superhero scene.
Yeah, he was.
If he doesn't like that and doesn't understand, okay, that makes me like want to like puke all over my keyboard. Like, we're doomed. We're completely doomed, because I was going to start with something less potent than that, of just reminding people that Secret Invasion had a great trailer. So did The Last Jedi. Like, we cannot get cucked by trailers in 2025. We should be past this. All right. So I have no faith in almost any trailer because again, it's not a representation of what the show is actually going to be. We've seen it so many times over and over again. Yeah. And if that's his thought process, we're doomed, because that's what made it was the blend of the fight scenes and the character work that made Daredevil
totally
work.
Agree. Yeah.
What was the comment? Sorry, I missed it because the phone was ringing. So
in essence,
it says the earlier show at its best was fantastic. At its worst, it was two characters in a room talking about what a hero is. I felt that had been done. I'm not taking swipes. I just didn't want to hear characters grousing about their lot in life. I wanted to see them doing things.
Literally, that makes them interesting.
You're so out of touch with what makes the genre interesting, what makes superheroes interesting in the first place. It's not just them punching people. It's the moral component, seeing their different perspectives. And Daredevil and Punisher are like the two perfect candidates for that conversation.
Yeah,
that shit like actually boils my fucking blood. Like, what are you doing?
So this will just be all style, no substance then.
100%.
Yeah, which makes for a really great trailer. It makes for a wonderful trailer. That's why everyone gets so excited, because if it's a continuation of that show, the characters and those boring conversations are assumed. And you show all the action, flash, and pizzazz in the trailer. And it sounds like that's all it's going to be, which is nerve-wracking, to say the least.
How many times have we seen...
Sorry, go on.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, how many times have we seen a superhero have to reveal to their new friend or best friend about their powers? Like the big reveal moment. Daredevil had the best one ever with him and Foggy, like legit arguing for an entire day about, you've been lying to me ever since, like the entire time I've known you, and having to actually face the consequences of that type of lie. There's so much more interesting things to explore with superheroes than them just punching people. Like, that's sickening. That thought process shouldn't be anywhere near a character like Daredevil, man. I'm super disappointed.
Yep. So that's why it's on this list of like, man, I hope it's good, because at first I was definitely leaning towards some excitement, and then after reading that comment, just taking multiple steps back.
Isn't it 18 episodes as well? So you've got all this extra runtime to not explore anything.
Yeah. Yep.
Fucking retard.
Doesn't make any sense. And because I've heard specifically from Gary mentioning that this is going to be, it's not going to start off super fast. It's going to be more of a slow burn. So if it's slow burn,
what are they burning?
Exactly. How can you have a slow burn if you're not appreciating the character work to be able to achieve that? It's going to
be Daredevil trying to move through life blind. He's bumping into railing. He can't open the door. He loses his key.
Yeah, they're gonna make him go through that whole arc again. Like it's gonna be like Echo. They're just, I don't know, man. I feel like it's gonna be the same. The Daredevil we saw in She-Hulk and Echo, that's Daredevil now, not the one from the series. I think we have to just move on. And yeah,
you've got to feel bad for Charlie Cox. Charlie Cox really wants this to win. He really wants Daredevil to be a thing. The fans want him as Daredevil.
Ripper,
and they just
add the list.
Make
the list of Cox, Boyega, Cavill, Adam Driver. Like a fucking, I feel sorry for like
the list of what?
The list of Cox.
The list of actors that just legit got screwed over. Like Finn, Kylo, all the different people that could have had potential with their characters and just got screwed, you know? And yeah, this is another one I just feel horrible for. Like Charlie Cox is done fantastic as Daredevil, and for him to just be on the sideline this whole time, having to like go and do the She-Hulk shit just to get his own show, it's pathetic, man. He deserves better. I don't
know. Next up on the I hope it's good, but list is Superman. Yep.
If it is good, the marketing team should be fired because they've done a shit job.
They have done poor. It has not been received very well.
Yeah, so I'm coming from this like as a normie, right? Like I've only seen, so I saw the first Superman with Christopher Reeves, liked that. I watched the one in, was it 2006, Superman Returns, and then there's the Henry Cavill ones, right? They're not all, the Reeves one was the best one, but watching that first trailer, it felt like there was way too much going on, and as just like a average audience member coming at this, not a fan, I was pretty turned off by it for that reason. There's no through line, and it's not, the trailer isn't trying to set any sort of foundation in terms of tone or what it might explore. It's just throwing a bunch of things at me and hoping some of them will get me interested enough to want to go see it in the summer. That's just where, so I have no interest in this.
I was hoping for a hopeful Superman. And as far as even the presentation, I feel like the colors are almost Zack Snyder-esque. Like they're a little brighter, like a little more vibrant than his muted color palettes he normally goes with, but it still gives off it's not a hopeful color scheme.
Cartoonish.
So like, the cinematographer from The Flash.
Which is
it is, yeah.
It is, yes. Yeah.
So when he said that film was actually the greatest film he'd ever seen, he meant that literally because he hired the guy.
It's one of those cases where the best case scenario is that he was lying, and it might actually be that he wasn't lying. He genuinely thought The Flash was good.
You're a horrible liar, James.
You know what they should have done instead of this movie? They should have saved like $100 million and like keep a small budget and bring back Tom Welling, the guy that everybody loved from Smallville, and actually give that guy a movie of some kind and see what's left there. Because I'm not a Superman fan, but I was a Smallville fan. I did like that show, and I would check out. And if he's got a big opportunity, I would check it out. And I feel like a lot of people would. And if they can actually tell a good story. Look, people were happy to see Michael Keaton in The Flash just because they love him. I think Tom Welling could have had a little piece of that.
All 108 people that saw The Flash were very happy to see Michael Keaton in The Flash.
What do you mean? 107, man? Come on.
People love seeing him suicide bomb a Kryptonian ship for nothing.
Jeez.
Yeah, that was a mess, that final battle. This one though is probably the one that I would anticipate doing the best of the ones we've seen so far. I don't think it'll do absolute gangbusters. It's not going to hit 1 billion. I would say it will do well enough to say 700 million-ish, and I think they will consider that perfectly acceptable. I would trust James Gunn as well to have James Gunn kind of knows what the audience's general mood is most of the time. Like he's quite good at hitting the lowbrow, relatively populist but popular kind of beats. Not necessarily very deep, but usually quite charming and reasonably funny, and I think quite optimistic, which would be my read for the way these trailers will go. The first one wanted to establish that we're beginning from a low point, but that means, of course, you're leading toward some great triumph, which will probably come in the final trailer. So I would say this one will do okay, would be my guess.
Do you think it's going to be basically the Batman, where it earns 700 million? A lot of people like it, but rewatching it, it didn't really do so well.
I can see that. It'd be almost like Guardians 3 as well, in the sense that they came out, did pretty well, certainly by comparison with everything around it, and everyone who watched it said it was fun. And then you sort of don't talk about it ever again because it wasn't that good. It will be something along those lines.
Platoon, would you say your expectations of the movie are based around strictly it being James Gunn? Or is there anything else that you're, in terms of thinking it's going to be good? Is it mainly because it's a Gunn film? Like you just have.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's going to be good. I just think it's going to be good enough for them. And
is that the reason? Would you say?
I would say it's a large part of the reason. Yeah.
All-Star Superman is its basis, and that's the one everyone knows. I'm not a huge Superman fan, but it's the book I know, and that's the hopeful Superman. That's the archetype you probably should be following, or that version of him. So that gives me some hope. And then the trailer comes out and it's not hitting quite right, and then the teaser and that's really not hitting quite right. So just like F4, I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm hoping it's good. And I bet 700 million, they would love that number, because I think of it as like Batman Begins. It's like Batman Begins was an apology. Yes. And it didn't make a ton of money at first at the box office, but they were happy with the number because that's the, trying to get the audience back number. And then the follow-up, The Dark Knight, that hits $1 billion, and that's a fucking mega success.
Batman Begins, I think that's my most underrated superhero movie. Dark Knight gets all the credit, but
it does.
Batman Begins is where it all began. I think it's the better Batman movie too.
That's the best of that trilogy. I would agree with you, Jedi.
Batman Begins is unbelievably underrated.
You couldn't have Dark Knight without it.
With a BagFace take right now. So my bar of judgment is always, have my parents seen the trailer and do they tell me about the trailer? And my parents both told me wow, a new Superman movie. I'm very excited to go see that. And to me, that's usually it will cross $900 million. And I think anything over 600, they'll probably be pretty pleased with, because he kept the budget really low for this movie. I think it was under 150 million for this, which is pretty good for a launching of a cinematic superhero universe that's unheard of
definitely.
Almost. So
didn't he say good. Didn't he say it was? Someone said it was 300 million, and he called them a liar. Then they showed them the tax returns, and he went, "Oh, someone must have filed it wrong."
Ooh.
I think for reporting around movie budgets is so tough, especially something like Captain America 4, because a lot of studios are going to push the budget way higher than it should be, and they get so many tax breaks on it that it's what do you call the budget? Do you call it 300 million, or do you call it 150 if you got $150 million tax break off of it? I would say call it 150, because you're only paying $150 million out of the studio technically, but I don't know.
I guess, but you still have to spend that money. A tax break doesn't mean shit. I still spent the fucking money. So a tax break is just, it, with Doctor Strange 2, it was reported that it was $200 million, and then years later, after court documents, because of whatever X, Y, and Z, it revealed that it cost $400 million fucking dollars.
That wouldn't surprise me. All the CG in that movie.
Dang.
Yeah. So
it also,
who knows,
is recycling jokes, because in this one he says Crypto isn't a good boy until that scene where he drags him, and that is very similar to Guardians of the Galaxy 3, where Cosmo is not a good boy until the very end, where they have that obvious payoff.
James Gunn's making the same movie again? I'm shocked.
Yeah, with the same tricks, man. The cutesy animals, from Groot to the animals in the Guardian 3. He knows what he's doing when it comes to that side. Because this.
Do you think they'll torture an animal in this movie too to get the
no animal torture in this movie, probably not. A little bit more chill. That doggo's definitely gonna have some serious plot armor. He's not getting a scratch on that nose. No way. But I don't know. I'm not particularly excited for it. I'm curious though. I'll be watching like just to see what happens.
But the DC universe is fucked because they say Peacemaker is chronological, which Jason Momoa is Aquaman, but he's also going to be Lobo in Supergirl.
At least we know what universe they're in, dude. Like, come on. Compared to like Marvel, we're like, oh man.
But
I'd say they're in a better.
Like, the Zack Snyder shit is still canon, but then it also isn't.
Right. Yeah.
Multiverses. There you go.
Isn't Jason Momoa playing a new character though?
No, it's
He's
Lobo.
Lobo, but he's saying Peacemaker, where Jason Momoa showed up as Aquaman, is there.
It's all
so he's two different fucking characters.
It's all fucked.
Maybe we'll get a joke in a future film about that as well. I'm pretty hyped for this.
Yeah, I'm hyped for this too.
I've never heard of
Has
this.
anyone else seen the trailer for this?
Yes.
I've never even heard of it before. What is it?
Oh, so good.
Yeah. Essentially, you know, like Live, Die, Repeat. Have Robert Pattinson be in it. Yeah. Have Robert Pattinson be the guinea pig who has to die constantly.
And it's the writer-director that did Parasite. So
Snowpiercer. Okay. Jun Ho Bong, I think is a Bong Joon Ho. There we go.
Bong Joon Ho.
Yeah.
So you have a good actor, a good director, and a good concept.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. I see why you're excited now. Because I did like this guy. I have so much respect for him getting out of being like the Twilight guy. Like nobody thinks of him that way anymore. Like that's an achievement.
Nope. Yeah, he looks like he's having a lot of fun in this movie too, because he gets to have he loves accents. He loves throwing on accents. And so in this movie, he doesn't, when he's a new Mickey is made, he doesn't necessarily, I don't know. It seems like he doesn't know that he's it does and doesn't seem like he knows he will end up dying, but he's not aware that there are multiples of him at the same time.
No, he knows. He signs up for the expendable program. So like he basically knows he's going to keep being killed and a new version of him will get reproduced. And then a problem happens when two Mickeys come out at the same time. Yeah. But then it's like, the problem is they go like, oh no, we've never had this before. And you went, really? What, you can only make one at a time? It doesn't really, the rules seem kind of like weak.
That's what they say in the trailer, right? But we don't know what's gonna actually happen. Like I'm watching because they're starting to do all the promos for this film, and they Boone and him seem to be having a great time on the carpet promoting this, and that gives me a lot of hope that this will just be a fun. I haven't been disappointed by one of his films either yet. So
Parasite is overrated.
It does. The concept does remind me of Moon.
I didn't enjoy that. That was overrated as fuck.
Dang.
I thought it was such a
overrated. I thought it was overrated.
No. I think it was a fantastic movie while also agreeing that it was kind of overrated. It's a weird one. I don't think it deserved the praise that it got, but it was a really good movie.
That's the middle of the fence, Jedi Brooks, all right?
No, it isn't. I agree that it didn't deserve the praise that it got, but it was a fantastic movie. It's exactly what I said. I don't think it does. Like The Dark Knight, I think is overrated. I still think it's a great movie. You can have both.
I'd agree with that one, yeah, because it's possible for something to get it's really, really good, but then loads of people say, and therefore it's the best thing that's ever been made, and it's like
Skyrim.
There's therefore is overrated. Yeah, Skyrim, for example.
There you go. There's plenty of them. This is a trickier one, but
is Parasite literally, anyone says, the best movie ever? Nobody I know has rewatched it.
I never said it was the best movie ever, but
I know, not you, but people in general go like, it's amazing. It won all the Oscars, which fucking means nothing nowadays.
Did you think it should have lost the Joker?
The first Joker film, yeah.
Of course. No, the second one. Come on. Yeah.
I forgot what the dates there.
I thought, this is why it's kind of the reason I said that, is I remember thinking that Joker probably should have won overall in terms of which I thought was probably the better film, but Parasite was more original than Joker, which is almost indisputable, because a lot of people think Joker is just a Taxi Driver ripoff. I don't agree with that. I think they played homage to it, but Parasite, I hadn't seen a story like that, where I've seen plenty of character studies like Joker.
To be fair, like I kind of see where Reaper's coming from. I enjoyed Parasite, but I didn't enjoy all the discourse around Parasite because it kind of got hijacked to represent something completely separate from what the film was going to do, right?
All of that was lame. I just focused on the film. Like,
I just focused on the film. And to be fair, there are quite a few, especially like Korean films that explore very similar subject matter and even do the character studies a similar way. This just happened to be the one that almost hit like right time, right place with a Western audience. That's all. So I get where you're coming from. I kind of agree there, but I still think it was a phenomenal film.
Yeah,
I don't.
It's not his best. His best is Memories of Murder, and I saw someone else point that out in the chat. If you haven't, go watch Memories of Murder. That's his best film, hands down.
Yeah, Mickey 17's got Mark Ruffalo in it. So, you know, if you like Mark Ruffalo.
Boo.
Oh, God.
Does he
plays
die?
a prominent character as well, one of the antagonists. So is anyone more excited for it now?
No.
Yes.
By Poison the Well?
Next up, this is from my childhood, man. I am really excited about this. Happy Gilmore 2.
Really?
Yes.
Really? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
They're
American Pie 4. Like, let's do it. Like, let's just break out whatever in the 90s.
Hey, American Pie 3 was the best one.
American Wedding was 3, right? I think Road Trip and American Pie 1 and 2 are like a must for
2 was the best one out of the American Pie franchise. What are you?
Wow, look at this American Pie discourse.
That's how excited we are about Happy Gilmore.
I just love the original so much, and seeing more of these characters, I'm not opposed to. Do I think it'll probably be good considering their track record on Netflix with all of his films? Probably not. But I'll tell you what. What's his face? I forget his first name. Something McDonald, who played Shooter McGavin. He is fucking killing it on Twitter right now, selling this movie. So he is absolutely hilarious. He's trolling Happy Gilmore in character on his Twitter account, like every day.
Genius, huh?
Yeah. So, you know, odds of it being good, X for doubt. I don't know. It's probably not going to be, but I'll be there to watch it.
What are the best legacy sequels in terms of like 20, 30-year gaps, but
Top Gun
continuity? That's got to be one. That's got to be one. What else?
One.
I can't even. I can't. We got one.
There's
got to be more.
Twisters.
I like Blade Runner.
Oh yeah, Blade Runner, Twisters, sure.
There's very few. There's exceptions though. Those are all exceptions to the rule generally. So
very few.
The Last Jedi.
No, that's shank you. cut your hair off. Ruin your power.
Oh yeah, I'd agree with Fury Road, but I know that depending on where you are in the world, it depends. So
what is the premise? Is it like his daughter, or is it like fucking? Because Apollo Creed's dead.
it's him with his beard, his older man beard, like the Keanu Reeves thing, where like as you get older, you got to grow a beard to hide your turkey neck or whatever. So there's that, and Shooter McGavin's back, and he looks almost the exact same as he did in the 90s. But other than that, for some reason, they're keeping like the plot under wraps as if it's gonna be deep. Like we need to hide the plot.
Or
it's just the first film.
Is there a script ready? Have they announced that a script has been finished?
Oh, there's a teaser even. There's a teaser trailer.
Okay.
So it's probably just going to be the first one all over again. They'll probably play it safe. They'll probably do the Austin Powers thing where they just rerun through the same jokes again and again that made it popular in the first place, or like Anchorman 2 did that.
It's good.
Look, I'm shitting on it, but you know, I still want to see it.
You'll be entertained at least.
A lame copy or a complete reconstruction. Those are the two options when they do these type of remakes. It's
remember the Dumb and Dumber sequel?
No.
It'll probably be like that. The Jim with Jim Carrey and
Dumb and Dumber
Jeff Daniels.
2. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll probably be like that, where that was a terrible movie and it was the exact same one as the first one, just not good. They ran through the same plots, the same jokes, and this will probably be like that.
Okay.
Just reading these comments up on the screen.
I
didn't like
No?
Megan 1.
Well,
I didn't see the first one, and I hate scary dolls because they always suck. From Annabelle to Goosebumps to
What about
Megan.
Chucky?
This one was
Chucky
a little more
sucks too.
satirical.
Oh, no, Chucky sucks. Chucky's not good
Chucky
either.
sucks, man.
The first Chucky film.
All of them,
Yeah,
everyone.
I mean, they're funny, but I wouldn't necessarily say that they need to be all the time.
I shit my pants the first one because I was about 4 or something when I came. No,
Yeah,
4.
that's who that movie's for. Is us when I
before.
watched it when I was 5. Yeah.
It was before I was born, and I watched it when I was like 5. And then my brother had a Chucky doll. That was the problem. And then he used to sneak into my room with the doll.
Okay, there's a problem. You had a big brother who's a dick.
With a
That's
knife
it.
in his hand.
Yeah,
Well, it was like everyone went to bed, and then the door, because my bed is like diagonal to the door. So as the door opened, I just saw the Chucky shadow on the wall with a knife.
Show me on the doll where he touched you.
Your Chucky trauma is a you problem, bro. He still sucks.
God damn.
I'm just saying, when you have actual Chucky in your house, it's scary.
Chucky taught me how to swear. He was a vulgar little fucker.
I love the iconic slasher heroes and whatnot, but a lot of them suck. Like I think like the Creeper and Pinhead are one of the two of the ones that like their concepts are actually more balanced and like just impressive because of that. We're like Chucky, like what? I don't know. The rules around him just. Why can't you just kick him out of the room? Like,
I know the rules are insane because like sometimes he's super strong. Also, like he can get brought back by voodoo sometimes, but not other times. And sometimes it's like he can just like there's blood in the water, and sometimes like you shoot him in the heart and he dies, but then he doesn't die because like if he doesn't touch another child within an hour, he's like Jimmy Savile. He won't come back.
Yeah,
It's
listen
like,
to
all sorts of weird
with this knowledge of Chucky lore.
I have seen a lot of the Chucky movies, and Mithrigan Squared is interesting only insofar as it doesn't try to be one of those movies until the end, and then it becomes a bad movie. But until the end, it's kind of interesting. It's just it gets constrained by its own genre.
Is she like really strong, or is she weak?
Is she stronger than Chucky? Who would win in the battle royale?
Well, I mean, she's just a robot though, and Chucky's demonic and possessed by voodoo magic sometimes. So Chucky would probably win.
It's plastic. Like there's only so much resistance that's the material's gonna take. That's what
she has, like a fucking adamantium skeleton, basically.
Like, she looks pretty OP. I'm cool with that. Like I'm assuming she's better written than Chucky.
Why would anyone build a robot doll for kids that can crush his skull?
See, it's kind of broken because if I remember rightly at the beginning of the movie, there's a company that's trying to make new kids' toys, and they've been told to effectively make a Furby, but then one of the lead researchers has been building this doll because why not? And it explodes at one point, and she doesn't get sacked, and then she's allowed to develop it, and then it turns out, hey, it's actually really good at taking care of kids, better than she is, in fact, when she takes over like the daughter of her. I can't remember how it works, but there are interesting ideas there about like deferring to machines to raise children. And for the first 2/3 of the movie, some of those ideas are actually quite well presented, and I liked it. But then it just becomes dumb, stupid, traditional doll-based horror slasher, and it's just silly.
Basically, women shouldn't be in the workplace.
Pretty much,
that's one of the points. Yeah.
Small Soldiers was fun. Shout out to that movie.
Fucking A. Well, I like the first one, so hopefully this one's good too. And I hope you all fucking hate it when you see it.
I probably will, so thank you.
Did you agree with their take that it falls off at the end?
Oh yeah, for sure. The best parallel I can think of is like the original Iron Man, where it was amazing until it just evolved to regular superhero fodder.
Obadiah losing his mind. People don't like to sleep over that. That's part of the reason I think Batman Begins is a superior origin story, because the third act of Batman Begins is fantastic. Third act of Iron Man is the weakest part. That really plays, and the Joker review. It's got one of the best endings with revealing the Joker card, which set up the Dark Knight. Nobody gives credit to Batman Begins. I'm gonna be like,
you can't have Dark Knight without Batman Begins.
Yeah,
so I'm with you.
Batman murders people in that film. He goes, "I don't have to kill you, but I don't have to save you either."
They fucked up that scene. There's two fuck ups. There's that, and there's a hilarious editing screw up towards the end when Ra's al Ghul comes back. The old lady that comes up and says, "Oh, am I getting your name right, Mr. Ra's al Ghul?" She's literally talking to the back of his head because he does like the superhero, the mystery villain reveal after.
So the lady must have been drunk. Like if you pay attention to the scene, it's completely hilarious, man. So those are
an
editing mistake and a moral mistake. Yeah, that's how
editing
I know the
mistake
movie.
in a Nolan movie. What a shocker!
But that is literally like one of his funniest ones. If go back for anyone who watches Batman Begins.
Yeah, but that was at a time where you could watch a Nolan film and actually hear what the people are saying.
Once upon a time, you could. The next movie I picked was to spite the guy that we did a
Cribby
response to last week. Yeah,
Our
I
boy
hope this movie's good too. Yeah, Black Phone 2 is coming out. I have no fucking clue how they're going to do this movie. I have no idea, but I did enjoy the first one, so I hope this one's good too. I don't even like I don't know if it's a spoiler. The movie came out years ago, but spoiler, everyone. He dies at the end, so I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do.
Is the sequel called White Phone?
No, it's Black Phone 2, unfortunately.
It's mixed race phone.
Even blacker phone.
Blacker phone.
This movie was mid to me. It did some things like pretty interesting. I'll give it credit that it's probably one of the better things Blumhouse has put out in a decade, but it still wasn't that great. I thought this movie was severely overhyped, much like Megan was.
Yeah, I give a lot of free passes to horror. Just because I love that genre so much. So
don't do it. You know, the very first conversation me and you ever had, like literally, not even hello, was pretty much debating that movie. Talk to me. You too,
really?
Vex. Oh, yeah, you. That's you. For 30 seconds, but then me and the Vex actually had a full-on debate, and like, my biggest thing is I understand the premise of stupid teenagers to push the plot in a movie. And I don't like it, but it is a tool that you can use.
It's
the problem in that movie. The problem in that movie is they're literally bipolar. They have them be super serious and cautious in one scene because they've literally already got a person killed with this, and then they're goofballs in the next, and then they're serious
like
in the
Vietnam
next scene,
flashbacks,
and then they're goofballs in the next. It's like you can't literally show both sides of this and get us to take it seriously. So you have to, either they're stupid teens and irresponsible, or they completely know what they're doing. You can't do both and then expect me to ignore all of it. So it broke the premise of the movie from the very beginning, which sucked for me.
I will agree with Jedi. You shouldn't give horror so many easy passes because there's so much horror that comes out, and there's really good horror that comes out that people don't give enough credit to.
I think I go into this genre a lot more as, hey, I understand this isn't the best thing ever, but I can't lie that I enjoyed XYZ. Like I'm not. Yeah, like what are some other shitty fucking horror movies that came out last year that was like they're on their 6th or 7th sequel, and I think it's Blumhouse. Like something Red Door came out last year. I don't know if that rings any.
Yeah, Smile 2 came out, but that was
that movie was sweet.
Even those movies, whatever the fuck ones I'm talking about, chat probably knows. The subtitle was like Red Door.
Insidious?
Yes, Insidious. I can't give those a pat. Those are like fucking horrendously bad.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
I say keep high standards for everything, but then just be honest about how you felt about it, whether you liked it.
Yeah, for sure. Like if I walk out of something and I enjoyed it, am I gonna lie? Absolutely fucking not. Can I also be objective and be like, well, the story sucked here, did this wrong? Yeah, of course. And I am tolerant of even Godzilla movies because I liked the first Godzilla versus Kong. I didn't like Godzilla X Kong.
Trigger them all over again, Cynic. Do it.
I will trigger the Godzilla fan base. God damn it!
I will trigger you. There's one good Godzilla movie. It's called -1. That's about it.
You didn't even like the original, like the
98 is a goofball.
No, not 98. Godzilla 1954.
If there's something worth checking out going back, but personally, I feel like a Godzilla film that dated wouldn't appeal to me. Where if I'm gonna go back that far, it's got to be something character based.
I think the first
Rosemary's
Godzilla
Baby, 12 Angry Men. But I thought -1 was like fantastic. Like
it is. Yeah,
like almost just a tier under like Jaws type thing. Like it should be respected amongst those type of movies. And the fact that it was a Godzilla
homage in it.
I love that. That's if you're gonna do it that way. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was very funny being told several times that it was like one of the bad things about that movie was that it showed that the Godzilla movies could be good. So of course, when we reviewed the other Godzilla movie, we made the comparison to the good movie.
God
they didn't
forbid.
like that very much.
No, God forbid.
Just enjoy the film, guys. Oh my god. Not everything has to be -1. Oh my god.
The Godzilla in 2014 looked better than the Godzilla in -1. The story was shit. I came to that movie to see Walter White yell at Godzilla. Like, that's what I wanted to see. And like, literally, Godzilla's barely in the movie.
Bait and switch, dude. Rug pull.
Yeah, Walt dies in like the first 20 minutes. It was terrible. I didn't even care if I'm spoiling that. Like, fuck that movie. Like, it's such a waste of people's time. And we get this plank of a character to replace him for the rest of the movie. He's got this stupid plot armor. It's just, I really hate that movie.
Yeah, the original Godzilla film from 1954. I would say go back and watch that one.
And someone in the chat is asking me about Shin Godzilla. I saw the goofy baby thing, and my jaw hit the floor. I couldn't believe it. I
you gotta look past it.
Everyone says you have to look past it, but I was just like, no. It kept getting
the final creature looks fucking badass, dude.
If
the final creature looks badass,
and the chat and uninspired and check it out, because everyone says that it improves, but it's just look at it. It's a joke. It looks like a Teletubby or something. I
would say the final form is probably the most intimidating Godzilla design that they've ever done.
If they can bring me back from that goofball that they started with, I will think that's impressive. But I'll check it out. I will check it out. Just to be fair.
Okay, we are into the least anticipated.
Yes.
Holy shit.
How is this still going?
Wait, that was the most anticipated?
What's the number?
Yeah. That was the highlight.
Yep.
What's that, like 13 or something? Like, what is this?
11. It's 11.
Bro, I've been done with this since 3,
okay, in defense, I'm going to defend this. Saw 10 was the best Saw movie since Saw 2.
I did hear that.
And
I don't know how like
I was going to do a script on all of the Saw movies, so I watched them all, and I could not bring myself to think about them any further. They're the worst things that have ever existed. It is nonsensical. Like, there is better storylines.
Straight ass.
Porn. It is,
you know what?
Awful.
I agree. Saw is garbage, but they created certain aesthetics that just hit home with people, from Billy the Puppet to the pig mask to Jigsaw's persona and his whole concept. There's something about it that just really connected with people while still being shit for like 11 movies. It's crazy. Like, none of them are that good, even like the first one.
Wait, his name is Billy?
Billy the Puppet.
This fucking thing.
Yep, that dude.
This ugly bastard.
Yeah.
So wait, what does Billy do? Because I only saw the first one.
He rolls up on a tricycle and he tells you that you're fucked. Like, that's pretty much it.
Like, not having a head in a vice is scary enough. You need this little thing to roll in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty much. Saw is pretty much torture porn, but it could have been more. It definitely could have been more because of all the other things that I mentioned. All it needed was proper writing and better characters, because it had like the aesthetic of an iconic horror movie.
All it needed
I just don't
was
understand.
A completely different film.
Yeah, pretty much.
His motive and his reasoning, like his rationale for why he's doing this, is so fucked. There's no way. It's not one of those things where you're like, I think I agreed with Thanos. Like, you just don't agree with this fucking guy. Like, it makes no sense. Like, he tries to say he hasn't murdered anyone. The fuck you have?
Yeah,
like,
you kidnapped them.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's ridiculous, and it gets even worse because at least Jigsaw, his games will give them a chance, and then you get this crazy bitch Amanda is just murdering people. Like, it became pointless after like the second one. Like,
like Squid Game deals with the premise a lot better, which is you get to vote each round for money or to leave. Whereas this, it's like you must cut your arm off to save your life. We go, well, I'm gonna fucking bleed to death anyway. What's the point?
I'm gonna die super
them
fast.
Volunteering is an important part of it to the front man, and I like that they try to keep the rules intact.
You must cut your cock off if you appreciate your life.
Like, the very first one is the guy, she has to dig the key out of the guy's stomach. Like, what's his choice? Like, how does he get out of that one? It's just, how do you say you've never killed anyone,
bro?
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, someone explain why Chris Rock was in a Saw movie for me. Someone, please.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
How did that happen and why?
Yeah.
Spiral. Oh,
Spiral.
Spiraled into bullshit.
I just, what?
It'd be funny if he couldn't build traps anymore and he had to do jigsaw puzzles, like 1,000-piece one. He just ran out of money.
Black Falcon. Oh God. Here we go.
I'm hyped for this. It's gonna be awesome. You guys are
not.
We're just haters.
Yeah, you guys are.
You
haters.
just hate that there's a black Captain America, don't you?
No.
That's the only reason anyone could hate any of this. It's just racism behind it all, really.
Yeah, it couldn't be all of the terrible news we've been getting about its production for years at this point. And be like, you know what, this might be a piece of shit, and you get the finger wag of racism. It's pretty incredible.
Well, I always find it works. We go, yeah, I am racist, but and that usually solves all the problems.
What are you gonna do now?
Oh God, I mean, it just foundationally, like its foundation is shit because it stems from a comic book series that kind of started in the whatever you want to call it, like the woke era of comic books started around like 2014, 15, and that's where this whole thing, its premise is coming from. And so like the defense of it is that it has comic book canon. I'm like, yeah, that's actually the fucking problem. Like it, and if you actually want to dive, I don't know, even a smidge deeper, Bucky Barnes, he took Captain America's mantle way before, you know, Sam Wilson ever did. So it was a political decision to skip over Bucky Barnes
100%.
Because I do not give a fuck if you're telling me that it's like, well, he was a super soldier and he killed people, and so therefore, you know, he couldn't be Captain America. I'm like, no, that's why it would be fucking interesting.
That's why he needs a new identity. He is someone who needs a new identity. He can't be known as the Winter Soldier. He wants to redeem himself. So being Cap is the next logical solution. And he's a Winter Soldier, so he can actually use the shield. But Falcon's black, so fuck all that.
Right. It was a political decision, and it was made during a time when the wind was blowing this way, and now it's blowing that way. So what they had to do was completely rewrite the whole fucking thing and neuter it. So at least the political messaging is taken out, but all at the same time, like they can't even stand behind their convictions at this point. It's just going to be like, most likely, I can't say for sure, but it is most likely just going to be a hollow, poorly edited mishmash of bullshit, because that's what these movies that are shot multiple times end up being.
It will be interesting to see if they actually do take everything out, because I would expect a little bit of what the film used to be to still be in there. But the more interesting thing is that it's probably the most production trouble I've read about in advance of a movie coming out since Dial of Destiny, and you could tell in Dial of Destiny because it's several different movies clumsily tacked together, which was hilarious to watch. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how this movie doesn't do anything to set up the Red Hulk, and then at some point randomly 10 minutes out from the end he will show up and have a fight because they realized they needed some kind of hook for the trailer, and that's the only story that he's going to get. Even if all the politics are removed, it's got to be such a messy script, which means it's going to be great fun to watch for me anyway.
Okay, question though. What level of good does this movie have to be? Say it's not bad. If it's like Iron Man 2 good, is everyone just going to say it's the worst thing ever?
No, I think that would be surprisingly good. If it comes out and it's that good, no MCU film has been as good as Iron Man 2.
Iron Man 2 has Justin Hammers. Like, his performance is actually fantastic in that movie.
So good.
He's so fucking good in every scene. The ex-wife, like, come on.
Yeah, the ex-wife.
It's one of the best jokes in all of the MCU. It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Call that one the ex-wife.
But here's the thing: it would need to be Civil War, Infinity War good to get people's interest back. It's not doing that. It's not happening.
I don't. Okay, this might be a hot take, but like that first trailer drop that it got, it kind of gave me Winter Soldier vibes. That's my favorite MCU movie. So I know it's probably not going to be that level, but like if it's just even like Iron Man. No, hold on.
I'll say it again.
If it's Iron Man 2 good, like I'll say that it's good. There you go.
Secret Invasion had a down-to-earth, gritty trailer that everyone's like, "Ooh, this looks like..." No, it was trash. Trash. One of the worst fucking Marvel shows in existence.
Yeah.
And like one of the worst character assassinations ever. Nick Fury is like one of the worst ones that nobody really talks about that much. They obliterated that man.
It is stunning how they managed, because I expect this film to do something slightly similar to that, and along the Winter Soldier theme. I don't expect a huge amount of multiversal bullshit in this movie.
Yes.
I think it will try to do an Earth-based story without any of that shit, and I will compliment it for trying to do that, because that's what we need more of. However, as has been pointed out, the last time they did it in Secret Invasion, they still found all new, brand new, innovative ways to completely fuck everything up, and so all the promise of the premise was lost. So I will compliment it for not doing a bad thing, but it's probably going to do a load of other shit things as well.
I'm going to give another BagFace take that chat will fucking probably hate. I'm going to go Cam for this. What's up? So, whoa. I think there's a difference in the reshoots of this movie to other movies, where I feel like reshoots in Marvel often happen because they forgot things, the story makes no sense, and they just have no idea what they're doing. And all the reporting that I've seen on this movie it wasn't very good. And I think Kevin Feige convinced Disney that, like, hey, if this movie isn't good, we're kind of fucked. So I think he was a lot more hands-on with this movie and went through and made sure that it at least makes sense and will be engaging for the average Marvel audience. That's the only reason I have more hope for this movie, because it feels like the reshoots were basically to just reshoot an entire movie, almost like they did with Daredevil. Like, Daredevil had a completely different script. They had shot a bunch of the episodes. Feige came in and was like, this is bad. And they scrapped the entire show and redid it from the start, which probably was a good idea. It might be a good idea for this, but it depends if they're doing that or if they're mishmashing a bunch of things they've already shot.
Yeah, but that's what I suspect they will do. Because Daredevil is easy to do. If you're starting from the beginning of something, it's relatively easy to then write contiguously from the beginning. So, like, your new story that you're creating will follow from the premise you've rewritten. In this movie, because it's a movie for one thing, and because of the reasons people said they didn't like the pre-screening and all the rest of it, if they're chopping and changing massive structural parts of the story, but they haven't started from a brand new, fresh script, I don't see how it will avoid being a complete mess, Dial of Destiny style, because that's just... it's almost impossible to create a coherent story if you're saying, well, let's lose like the fourth fifth of the movie and let's put the second fifth of the movie where the fourth one used to be, and then we'll do a whole new second one, and then also maybe the first one will change a little bit after the fact, because audiences watched the test screening and said, we hated everything about it. I'd like to believe you, because I'd still have a fond memory of the MCU. It would be great to see it get back to something like a mediocre level. I just really don't see this film being the one to do it, sadly.
This was bad follow-up to Deadpool and Wolverine.
Just to add on too, it didn't go through 3 test screenings. Like, at first it went through a couple terrible test screenings, and they kept going back and forth with the reshoots on top of that. So that tells me that they're probably not, like, they didn't do what they did with Daredevil. They're just tweaking it as it goes. And of course, then there's the response to, oh, this is what audiences actually want. This is what audiences are turning away. And now we have to make that decision on top of that. But even then, I'm still like, I think this will be above the bar. This will be above everything else that comes out for the superhero genre this year. I really do.
You've said that a few times. Is there any reason in particular?
Ironically, that's all. The bar is so low. The bar is so low.
To the bar? Wow.
Yeah,
even with
Superman, the lore of irony determines.
Like Superman, like Platoon says, has gun and like at least like a clear thought process. It feels like it was more planned out than this. And Fantastic Four is like a completely blank slate. Like, it could be fantastic for all we know. So
what Marvel has shown me in terms of new ideas hasn't put any faith in me for Fantastic Four, that movie, right? On top of that, I'm really over Pedro Pascal. Like, that's a complete turn off, and I don't see him as a Reed Richards kind of character, right? Superman, from a normie perspective, like James Gunn's new DC universe, it started off technically with Creature Commandos, and the first episode of that show showed what the bride of Frankenstein boning like Frankenstein's monster or something. And the first behind the scenes footage he decides to release of his entire new universe are the voice actors recording sex noises. On top of that, everything I've seen from Gunn, it isn't particularly like innovative. He just makes the same movie over and over and over again. And I have a feeling that he's just going to do that with Superman as well, because he hasn't instilled confidence in me to think otherwise. So at least Captain America, it's probably going to be terrible, but at least it's not going through, like, it has that Winter Soldier tinge to it. It's not trying to lean too much into the fantasy element.
There's a fucking Red Hulk.
Element. Yeah, well, I mean, but that's not that heavy. You know what I mean? Like, there's no multiverses, there's no timelines.
We don't know that.
People drawing symbols and all of this stuff.
We don't know that yet. There could be all that stuff in there. This might be the most broken movie ever.
There could be, right? But again, what I see, I'm not seeing that so far. So, like, again, if everything else is a 2 or a 3, this will be like a 3.5. There you go.
I'll give them credit for the fact that they realized it's bad and wanted to reshoot it. Like, they want the movie to be good. Thank fucking God.
Yeah,
right on.
Here's the reshoots for Thor, Love and Thunder. Like, they just said, Tyga, do whatever the hell you want.
I feel like they did reshoot that movie and it just made it worse.
Oh, I don't know. I feel
in defense, I'm going to defend James Gunn really quick. If I made something that made $800 million, I'd probably just do it again.
Yeah,
that's true. That's fair. Yeah, people like it. If people like the formula, why change it, right?
Well, it has diminishing returns over time, which is why the Guardians movies sort of steadily got like less and less well received, but they still made a big amount of money. So yeah, why not? I think that's probably what appealed to DC about what James Gunn did. Not only that he gave them the idea behind the Infinity Stones and all that shit, but he'd also created some of the only successful Marvel movies of the last 5 years at least. So but again, eventually that kind of thing will run thin because you've seen those movies so many times before. It starts becoming like generic cape shit in a different way. This one I don't think will be. I've just been looking at the writing teams, plural, behind it. There's some good news. The guy who did the overall screenplay did Treasure Planet. That's good. But then you go and you look at who did the screenwriting, and they're all shit because they've all worked on The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. One of them, his entire Wikipedia entry is he is best known for his work on The Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Iron Sky: The Coming Race, which I think is the weird Nazi moon base thing. So that could be fun. This is exactly the candidate I want to be writing my grounded, serious superhero story, Iron Sky.
Give him a chance, Platoon. Like they just needs a little bit of just one person to believe. There you go.
You remember those Hulk hands that were really popular for a while?
Yep.
That does look like that.
It's legit looks like one. Someone's just standing off camera, just holding a big red one. It's spray painted. Okay. Like, it's just cheap as hell. And how are they gonna there's so much wrong with this, and like, how are they gonna justify this man using the shield to the degree where he can stop Hulk
and
like, I don't even think Captain America
catch him without it cutting his fucking hand off?
I don't even think Captain America could stop a punch from Hulk like that. Like, I'm like, barely. I don't know. Why are they forcing us to believe that this guy is something he's not? I wonder if they're going to even address that.
Aren't you supposed to watch Falcon and Winter Soldier before watching this?
I was about to ask you guys,
watch
do I have to
as well?
Do I have to suffer through any of this shit? Someone tell me what I need to watch to be.
Okay, my theory. I have a theory on Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I know that there was huge rewrites because of Corona, and the whole thing had to do with a virus being spread around the world. But I feel like Bucky was supposed to get the shield at the end of that movie, or at the end of the show. And Foggy probably came in and was like, I don't know if people are going to watch this. And we kind of gave it to the black dude at the end. So can you just make sure he gets it at the end? Because the whole show is leading up to Bucky getting the shield. So I don't think any of that show will actually matter.
Are you telling me
you do
Bucky gets
the black guy
twice?
Yeah, 2 times, baby.
2 times.
But you need to know who Isaiah is, because Isaiah is a super soldier they introduced in the show.
Oh my god!
And he's the one who spags out, has dementia or something, and runs out the window.
Also, it's the villain from the original Hulk movie with Edward Norton. So if you didn't watch that, sorry.
That I've seen, and I think that is it's not good, but it's underrated. It's like
it's fun.
It's the best version of Hulk we've got, other than like the first Avengers. Like we haven't had Hulk be Hulk in like a decade, and it makes me sick because he's one of the most.
You didn't like She-Hulk when she was just better than him in every way.
Fucking abominable. It's not even just that. It's not even just that she was better than him. It's the fact that they made Bruce jealous and insecure about it, when Bruce would be fucking thrilled that his cousin doesn't have to go through the same nightmare that he went through. It's a complete misunderstanding of his character, and that's what bothers me more than her just being, way better than him. They just missed out on an opportunity to elevate both of them. She-Hulk was fucking stupid.
This is just a problem of Marvel. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, in response to that comment too, I totally agree with the comment, and like, there's a reason why they had Thor fight the Hulk in the original Avengers, and they didn't have Cap or Iron Man do it because the Hulk would fucking murder them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. They had an understanding of the dynamics. You just can't have that. Like, do you remember the Black Widow scene when she's running from Hulk? She's running for her fucking life.
Right.
And they actually,
he was like terrifying in that.
Because they choreograph it in a really effective way, so you can really see the presence of the Hulk. And I stand by this now. Like, if you have Hulk now, you can never have that same scene. They would just laugh at him. They can't have him be intimidating. It's like I don't know. It's like they associate Hulk with toxic masculinity or something. Like, let the motherfucker be a Hulk. It's so stupid.
And is Sam Wilson's head made out of vibranium? Because it looks pretty, shieldless there. So
okay,
what the fuck?
Maybe
giving him a vibranium, not vibranium. Yeah, vibranium. Whatever Black Panther suit is made out of, that's what his entire suit is made out of. I think that's how they're explaining it.
So he just got Wakanda bullshit.
Yeah.
So he's just
Did they give him the grape juice, or
he's pretty much just Iron Man? Yeah.
No, why didn't they give him the grape juice? They gave it to Shuri.
Because you don't really need the grape juice if you've got the vibranium. It's a bit of a half and a half, really.
This is my problem with Black Panther. You got infinite resources, you greedy cunts. Like, why can't they share it with the world?
Sam Wilson doesn't need it because this is an old man turning into Red Hulk. And old men already have low testosterone. Therefore, his
low
Red
T
Hulk. Right. He'll be a low T Hulk. So it's okay. It's okay.
Well, we already have that. We have Professor Hulk.
Yeah, we did have Hulk already.
Yeah,
That's
definitely's got low T. Everything, man.
So what is he like? Is he going to punch him once, then just go to sleep?
Yeah, there you go. It's problem solved. Problem solved. No grape juice needed.
All right. Next movie.
Oh, fuck
boo! Boo!
There we go.
Boo this movie.
It's gonna make a whole shit ton of money, and then nobody's gonna talk about it like 4 hours later.
It's like James Cameron is like my personal ghost of Christmas past. He just turns up every Christmas now, from now until the end of time, with a new fucking Avatar movie to take my money, so I can just waste my 10 of them. I know, and then spin-offs, games that no one plays, comics no one reads, books probably that no one's ever printed. It's just utter fucking horseshit movie franchise. And there's another one and another one and another one, and it's always Christmas when I want time off, and I'm not going to get it thanks to James fucking Cameron.
Fire and ass. Fire and ass. Oh my god! Like, name 4 characters from Avatar. Somebody, because I couldn't. Like,
we had this entire thing. I had that argument with Lofty on Sax's channel, I think it was, and he was talking about how it's great and he really loves the movie. And I said, like, well, what's the name of this main character?
So I challenge everyone. People can name all 9 People can name all 9 members of the Fellowship from memory and describe them from their traits to their appearances to their arc. No problem, off the top of their head. Name 4 motherfuckers from Avatar. Like, nobody can remember this movie. We just know it made a lot of money. There's blue people in it. The actress, wow.
The character.
Jake Sully. That's the only one I know.
Sigourney Weaver and blue people.
The villain.
They're called the Na'vi. Guy? There you go. The blue people are the Na'vi.
Oh, God. It's just funny. Avatar's fascinating.
They're trying to get unobtainium.
Oh no, they gave up on unobtainium because they forgot that was in the first movie. So in the second movie, they were after whale brain juice that extends the power of human life, which they want to send back to Earth, which is dying. So what the fuck is the point? And then they all want to come over and colonize. That's true. Yeah, there's no unobtainium in the second movie. It's whale brain goo.
When the 4th movie will be the snow level.
Yes,
it probably will, yeah, because the fire people are apparently evil in this movie. So at least we have evil Smurfs.
No,
that'll be a change.
Yeah, Bender. So it'll be fire, water, earth, and wind. So it's gonna be rock, Navi next, and all gonna be brown.
I am a little bit excited for this to be. I know this is on the not excited list, but just because remember how all of those social justice warriors came out and were like, blue people matter. I'm looking forward to seeing that get a comeback with this movie. That was quite entertaining. So
how racist are the fire ones?
The VFX breakdowns of these movies are 10 times better than the movie themselves. Like, watching what people do to make these movies is crazy cool.
Yeah, they're massive tech demos, and the technology is very impressive and will probably be used to ruin a lot of movies going forwards, but it's still not a great film. if the story's the same and the same and the same and the same and the same again. I might even just redo the review I did for the last one and just change a few nouns, and otherwise it's exactly the same video because it's going to be the same movie again. But they'll find some new way of the fire people will be evil, but they'll find some way of blaming that on evil humans. Really, it'll be like, well, we invaded and forced them off their land, and that's why they went and genocided each other. Because really, it's colonialism that's the big bad. Because they tried to do that in the last one anyway. Then you've got like the Chip Hazard small soldiers guy who is now in the body of a Smurf, and he has a son. That's going to probably come back.
Right.
His father.
They were smart enough not to kill him off in the second movie this time. Yeah. I do remember that. So we don't have to go through the, resurrection scene. They'll just get right into it.
It doesn't matter if you kill them off, because they can just bring them back in the body of a Smurf. Because they installed backups between movies after he was dead and decided they needed him back. So it's, oh yeah, by the way, we did also have a backup of your consciousness. Here, be a Smurf. Go take revenge on the person who didn't even kill you. Okay, great.
Special shout out to Gooch, gifted 5 memberships.
Oh, thank you very much, sir.
Gooch. Big stuff.
Gooch. Yep, that's cool. Avatar 3.
Sweet. Oh yeah, baby. Good stuff.
Speaking of horrific CGI creatures.
Here we go. Let's go.
Baby.
Yeah, this girl has talked so much shit. Like, I cannot wait to see this thing fail and like just her get humbled.
I'm pretty sure Cynic has made more money off of this movie than the movie will make. Already.
That's probably true. And she has not even been in a movie that I think has been financially successful yet in her career. I think the best that she's accomplished is the Hunger Games film she was in broke even.
Yeah, she's got a lot of arrogance for someone who's not made any money.
Yeah, I was gonna say, where's this ego come from? Like, if you hear,
because she's in movies,
it's just the entitlement of these young kids now, man. It's just,
well, she's had to do a lot of to get into those movies.
Jesus Christ.
Is there really anything to say about this?
I mean, we've all said so much about it, but it would not be a list of least anticipated movies without this. You gotta have this.
What is what
meta around the movies?
What do they mean by fairest of them all? Because she's not fair-skinned and she's pretty horrible.
They changed the meaning of that actually in this movie.
Like literally fair, like
yeah, something like that.
With her convictions.
Yeah,
she's a righteous person.
Why would the evil queen give a fuck?
Yeah. And why is it Gal Gadot? Like, can they just can't have like an ugly.
They can't make her. They can't make her look ugly.
Yeah, they can't do it, man.
They cannot make Gal Gadot look unattractive.
They might try and do some weird like Indiana Jones melting face thing. Like if she has a ticking clock and she has to do it, because if she doesn't, then she'll lose the blood, the adrenochrome thing that she's on, basically, and then the face will start melting rapidly. And that's why she has to do to kidnap Snow White, who, if I remember rightly, is now called Snow White because it was snowing when she was born, which is now the reason. Setting off a habit of naming people after weather, which I don't recommend we try.
You just call her Snow. You wouldn't change her last name to White.
Well, snow is white until it falls on the ground and people drive all over it, and then it becomes a brown sludge, and then it's just sludge. But it's not as attractive a name.
Why does my daughter have a different last name?
Because she's a bastard. It's Game of Thrones rules.
A bastard from the north, man. Did you watch the show?
That would actually be a better story. The mum's gonna go, "Oh, you're dad," and they're both white, and the dad just doesn't know what to say.
I like that they committed to that in Game of Thrones. If you're a bastard in the north, your last name's Snow, and if you're in the south, your last name's Sand. Like, I wonder how far they would take that. It's pretty cool.
And that's coming out when exactly? Before we move on to this fucking disaster.
March. It's mid or end of March. Yeah.
Oh god, that's going to be a busy few months, isn't it? Because you've got Captain America in like end-ish of February, Snow White in March, Thunderbolts I think comes out in April or May. There's something else which is coming out around that same time. I can't remember which one it is.
Like Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, and Superman are all kind of in the same time frame, like back to back to back.
Hooray! My editor's going to kill himself after all this work.
We got a hot take on this movie. Or semi-hot take. I don't even know. I don't think it's possible to be worse than Dominion. It's just there's just nothing left. It's not possible.
Listen, shite finds a way. We know that they can do it.
It's going to be terrible. It's going to be embarrassing. It will be a disgrace. But bringing back the original 3, destroying Alan Grant, decimating his character, the Charlotte retcon, and all the other nonsense that went to happen in Dominion. It's the worst Jurassic Park movie by a mile, and it's just there's not much more to be done. Like this is after, like you've already killed the big 3, brought them back. There's not much more you could do to affect my investment. But seeing Alan Grant again and seeing him completely treated like a cuck, like an old man loser, they like Nick Fury. He pretty much got the Nick Fury treatment in Secret Invasion.
Yeah, he really did.
Man. It was so fucking frustrating to watch. So I don't know what's left there.
I'm just more curious if they're going to bring back more genetically modified, like super dinosaurs or whatever, because this takes place a few years after the events of Dominion. That's part of the official plot. So
yeah, because also the plot précis says something like like a few years after the events of Jurassic World Dominion, the dinosaurs escaped, and it turns out that Earth's climate isn't hospitable to dinosaurs. It was like, oh, we know. How is this a surprise? They knew it in the first film, like in the 90s, it wasn't going to work. They probably will though, because the dinosaurs all escaped, didn't they? Or like these will be the escaped dinosaurs, or the ones that have been trafficked, like the laser guided dinosaurs that they had in Italy. I think that's where the arms trade in dinosaurs was taking place. That's a sentence. So we'll have we'll have more of that, and it'll just be a complete mess. I do hope they don't go down the route of let's just create an even bigger, badder version and call it something like incredibly gay, the Incredigasaurus, which they might do. But I hope they don't.
Well, Gareth Edwards is writing this one, I think, and he's directing, so it'll look good. But I personally don't think Gareth Edwards can write a good script, so it'll be a very hollow Jurassic World.
I feel like Jurassic Park is more visual, though. Like
it is.
When I go to Jurassic Park, I want to see scary dinosaurs,
and that's the problem.
Really care about the story.
That is
the dinosaurs aren't even scary anymore.
No, this is the thing. You've highlighted the problem. They don't understand. A lot of people think back and think Jurassic Park was about dinosaurs eating people, and that's what it's become. But the first film had a lot to say about humanity. It had a very important message. Fantastic characters. There was a story there. It's become, what kind of scenario will dinosaurs eat people this time? And that's all. That's why it's still making money. It drives me nuts. What you said was so true and so honest, but it's the problem. It's the fucking problem.
Yeah, the first film actually relies on you not seeing dinosaurs eating people. Like all the first film's horror and its suspension and tense. Suspension and tense, tension and suspense. That's what I was going for there. All of that comes from its claustrophobia, the fact that you can't see through the dark jungle. And because, of course, they were using animatronics for most of it, you would occasionally see the head jump out, but very rarely. There's two CGI Vista shots, I think, in the entire, 3 CGI Vista shots in the entire movie. You've got the original Brachiosaurus reveal, you have the sort of the broader panning out shot, and then you've got the big T-Rex at the end. I think of and the Gallimimus as well, the Gallimimus chase. But the rest of it is all very close in. It's all about the human characters, and it's all about that message about the length to which you push bioethics and your inability to control complex systems, which is brought over from the novel. So it's a surprisingly intelligent story, and the story is what carries it in the way that none of the other films have managed to remember. Even The Lost World, which borrows some of the techniques, and obviously Spielberg is still there, lapses into generic monster flick when they all go back to San Francisco.
Yes. The first half of that movie is not bad, but the second half is where the franchise pretty much took off. And the first Jurassic Park is one of the most important dinner table scenes in any film, where you get everyone's perspectives. And he pretty much, the people he brought to defend him against the lawyer are now against him just because of their logical minds, and being able to see the domino effect of this place and getting each perspective was fantastic. It's such a phenomenal scene, and that's what I think of when I think of Jurassic Park, not fucking dinosaurs eating people.
And the change they make to John Hammond as well, which is a really important one. Because
I think the last time I watched it, I was 11, so it makes sense.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's worth rewatching it, because it's a really, really clever movie. Not just in the production quality of it, but the writing quality is just top drawer. The really important other change, besides it not just being about dinosaurs eating people, is the change that Spielberg made to John Hammond's character, because in the book, he's a generic, evil, cynical businessman. And Spielberg thought, well, look, I think this would be way more compelling if we actually understand the wonder of the vision. You have to sell this to people, because he's sold it to people. And having him as this really naive, almost childish dreamer who desperately wants this brilliant idea to work, as we all do, makes him a more compelling character. But the other decline in these movies is that since then, every villain has been the version of John Hammond from the book, but more retarded. They are just evil, cynical business people.
Worse. The guy in Dominion was like a joke. Oh my god. But I was gonna say, Platoon, you just actually like popped something in my head. You know who Hammond is exactly like? Viserys, because Viserys was way more. Yeah, he was a basic bitch loser in the book, pretty much. Like they just and Paddy Constantine's version of Viserys is so much more substantive. And it's actually pretty interesting to think about that. And that's part of the reason why adaptations are important, people. I'm tired of these like, oh, it's not like the book. There's a reason you can learn from the, like, just because it's from a book doesn't mean it's perfect. We can grow and learn from these things. And Hammond is one of the best examples of why adaptations can be a good thing, you know? Really like the changes in this character. And Jurassic Park's the first movie I ever saw, and this guy's reminding me. Same with me. It's the first movie I've ever seen in theaters. Number one.
I think it might have been the first movie I ever saw because I was like a small child.
Wow.
I have the most memories watching this movie as a child. So I don't know if it's my first, but yeah, I do remember watching this a lot as a kid.
We did it.
Wait, that was all of them?
Oh, that was all of them.
What about 28 years later? I thought that was going to be on there.
Cynic didn't pick it.
No, I picked Happy Gilmore 2 over that.
What? Are you insane?
Has everyone seen, like, I've been shitting on trailers this whole fucking podcast, but I will eat my words for that one because that is what
I'm hyped as fuck for that movie.
It's
oh my goodness.
One of the best trailers I've ever seen in my whole life. I'll go that far. It's like perfect. That's what trailers should be. Like, not ruining the whole story, but like I feel like it's enough to get me hyped and get me interested. Like, it's high quality.
It doesn't show too much. It builds up some tension really nicely. I know more or less what I'm getting into, but not completely. I'm hyped for that. That's a midnight screening in IMAX for me right there.
Have you guys seen it? BagFace, Platoon, Cynic, BagFace?
Oh yeah.
Platoon, Cynic?
The trailer?
Yeah.
I actually haven't seen the trailer for it. I'm
my guy.
Staying away.
Dude.
Staying away.
This is why he chose Happy Gilmore 2. He hasn't.
I didn't. Well, I know there's hype around it, but I didn't see the trailer, and I didn't want to. So
it will restore your faith in good trailers. Yeah, that's how good that trailer is.
I've argued against trailers like 3 times tonight within the last 2 hours, but I still stand by that one being phenomenal.
There's always exceptions to rules, man.
Yes,
I understand.
yes.
I want to honorably shout out Sinners, which is the Jordan Peele flick that he's doing with Michael B. Jordan, where it's basically
that looks pretty interesting, actually. Yeah,
one of the only ones I'm excited for.
Yep. Any other shout outs for movies you're not anticipating or are that I didn't pick?
Nobody 2, because Nobody 1 was fucking sweet. I can't remember the actor's name right now. The guy who played Saul.
Saul.
Yeah. That movie's fucking sweet.
Wait, is there a Predator movie coming out? Predator Badlands?
Yeah, Badlands comes out. I'll see it, but I'm not hyped for it.
But it's like,
what's his face again?
It's like Cynic was saying, Alien, Predator. Just if we'll try. If you're gonna make one, we'll
keep trying.
We'll keep trying, man. So
we'll be there to watch it.
Yeah.
Not a movie, but a show that I think will probably come out this year because it wrapped filming last March is that Terminal List spinoff. I think it's Dark Wolf or something like that. I'm hoping Amazon releases it this year, but who knows? I'm kind of hyped for that. I can't think of any other movies that weren't already on that list though.
There's also Silent Hill movie.
Is that coming this year?
I think so, and I'm a big fan of Pyramid Head, so I'd want to check that out.
Okay. That's I can't think of anything else that's coming out this year.
The Conjuring Last Rites, absolutely fucking not. And I'm a horror movie guy.
They're still going?
Yeah. Oh, the Del Toro Frankenstein movie.
I had both of those on there. There's 2 Frankenstein movies coming out this year.
Okay.
Oh wait, you guys forgot about the Thunderbolts. We were talking about superhero movies. We left that one out. You think the Thunderbolt? What if the Thunderbolts is better than Captain?
It will be.
That speaks so much about the it speaks a lot about the anticipation of that movie. We're like,
totally forgot.
I don't know who's in that team, and even if I do, I don't know where they come from. Isn't Task Manager from Black Widow? Is he one of them?
It's a team
Task
full of
Manager
people. The most recognizable person is Bucky because he was in like the MCU pretty much, but everyone else is like you would have had to watch these shitty movies or Disney Plus
second-rate Black Widow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's
Ghost
in it.
from
Yeah.
Ant-Man 2.
I feel like
whatever the fuck.
It would have been a lot better if they kept Stephen Ewan, because he was supposed to be playing Sentry, and then I think he had to step out to do season 3 of Invincible, which makes me want to die because Invincible sucks.
I like that guy. It would have been cool to see. I feel like he would have been welcomed into the MCU. People just like him.
People did respond positively to his casting, even though he doesn't ethnically fit the character, because he's a good actor.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to at the end of the day.
Imagine that.
Nobody's excited for Freakier Friday?
Nope.
No? Goddamn.
The fuck is that?
Me.
An archaic Jamie Lee Curtis. She's like holding on for dear life.
Isn't
but hey, it might be Lindsay Lohan's big break at her return.
Isn't she like a massive drug addict?
No, she's a mom now.
She's chill now.
Yeah, that's not mutually exclusive. You can be a mom and a drug addict. In fact, most mothers probably are.
I'm looking at the list of stuff that's coming out. The Minecraft movie, is anyone excited for that?
Holy shit, I forgot that was this year. Yeah, that's god.
That's in April. Maybe that's what you're thinking of.
Oh, that must be it. Jesus.
No
more Jack Black.
To Minecraft. Nothing.
Jason Momoa in a stupid fucking wig.
He looks so terrible.
It's rough, man.
He looks pretty
That's the Last of Us season 2.
You think they'll stick to canon on that one, or you think they learn?
I'm really interested to see if they do. If they're sensible, they won't, right?
I think they'll wait till season 3.
Yeah, exactly.
You think they'll stretch it?
Pedro.
Yeah, they do. I can't see them getting hole in one like from the beginning. I just don't.
They need Pedro's the only star power carrying that show, and he is still a draw for numbers, so they'll stretch it.
Ramsey and
what are you talking about? The little
guy like an ultra sharp jaw that can cut iron.
She's gonna be scissoring people in this movie too. So the lesbian scenes.
I don't need that. I don't need that in my life. I just not with her.
They've changed season 1 to accommodate season 2. So all the fucking groundwork's been done. Joel's a fucking idiot. He'll run into every problem they come across. Like,
as someone who didn't play
Armstrong
games, definitely wasn't
huge she's not. I don't think she'll be big in this one. But like, the big problem was, how do you get so big when there's no food? And yet we saw this gigantic fat woman in season 1. I don't know what the fuck she's eating. I can't get that big on fish.
Other people.
All right, we're gonna get to super chats. So if you guys have any questions that you want us to answer, get them in now before we go through them all. Because once we go through them all, we're done.
We're out of here. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. David Gannon for $5. Oh dear. You guys think it's okay to remove someone's agency if it benefits the hero?
It's more that I think it's okay to remove someone's agency if they are a villain. So it's not necessarily to benefit the hero. This is the mind trick question again. So we return to Anne Frank and the attic. It's always that kind of question. If you have an opportunity to use it against a Nazi to save an innocent Jewish girl's life, you're going to use it. Yes, you're taking away the Nazi's agency. Oh no, in the case of Reaper. Okay, fair enough.
And this is it's like they didn't listen to the follow-up of like seeing what a hero does with their powers is the most interesting thing about superheroes, at least to me. And if you're using a power like that for good, then yes, it's a good thing. It all depends on what you do with it. If Obi-Wan did that to go rob a bank, then no, we wouldn't be saying this. It's kind of silly to even like have this perspective, but
this is for you, Platoon.
James Busher for £5 Hi all to Platoon. Have you started watching Attack on Titan yet? And if so, what are your thoughts? This comes up periodically, and my answer is almost always the same. I have had it on in the background, and it convinced me that I should have it on in the foreground one day, but I haven't got around to doing that yet.
I think you should treat anime like horror. Most of it isn't good. Some of it is phenomenal, and you should find the ones that are. Attack on Titan gets brought up over and over and over again because it's one of the few animes that I'd recommend to non-anime watchers. It's a fantastic show. I would love to discuss. The ending is controversial.
is shit.
I'll leave it at that.
It's
I'll
not
leave it at that.
controversial.
It's controversial. It's controversial.
It is 100%
No. Stop right there. I don't take it that far. I think the ending of Lord of the Rings, how a lot of people think it takes too long. That is exactly what Attack on
you mentioned them in the same breath.
Wait, let me finish. That is what Attack on Titan needed. It needed those extra moment to breathe, to be able to spend more time with the characters that we actually have grown to appreciate. But with that said, a particular character got Jamie.
No,
Lannister.
it's not. No, that's not what it is.
Reaper, I would love to talk to you about Aaron.
I'm
gonna you uninspired and a few other people. I'm gonna invite you, and we're gonna talk about Eren Yeager's entire arc, because that needs to be. We need to discuss.
It makes no sense.
Don't say it. Why did he make him say that? Why did he fucking say that? He won't say that. He gets Jamie Lannister, but the show is fucking fantastic.
Oh no, Jamie Lannister doesn't turn around and thank his murderer.
They fucked up at the last, at the finish line. Literally the finish line, they shat themselves. But it's like everything else, I'd highly recommend it to almost anyone, even to discuss.
I wouldn't. That ending's Game of Thrones bad.
No, it's not. Even from look at the discourse between me and him, you could already see it's for him to be this passionate about it and me this passionate defending it. No, don't listen to this man. Don't listen to this man. Eren Yeager is Anakin Skywalker done correctly.
No, he isn't.
Yes, it is. Until that moment, Rebirth. The fucking last
Anakin's
second.
The best written character until we see him.
No.
Until Phantom Menace, Anakin's the greatest character of all time. Then
you can clearly see it's a tricky subject, but yeah, don't listen.
It's not tricky. He's shit.
Watch the show.
Great soundtrack. It has a great soundtrack, Platoon. I like to put it on when I'm driving, and it makes my drives home way better.
Commander Erwin, since his storyline is completely intact, we can agree he's fantastic. At least the Reaper.
Yeah, he's the best thing in it. Then afterwards, obviously, the show sucks ass.
The reveal of his motive is one of the best things I've ever seen. Like, it just in terms of recontextualizing a character. The show has fantastic character work and really good reveals, and you should watch it.
Eren Yeager, I would say no.
Particularly because real quick, I know you want to move on from this. There's 4 seasons. He's the most annoying fucking character from 1, 2, 3, and then he's the most fucking awesome character I've ever fucking seen. And then he shat himself, and they ruined everything.
Yeah, because he starts to get balls. He gets balls, and then you find out he never had them. It was all shriveled up. They cut a line out of the manga because it was that bad.
Wait, for the sake of these people who have no idea what they're talking about, we and you have to do this again, Reaper.
But the film had to change it because the ending from the manga was so bad.
Why do you say that?
No, I'm glad I didn't watch the final season. So
no, it's worth watching. It's worth watching. Okay. It's just
I color me intrigued. Yes, I will. I will make a point of watching it properly.
Yeah,
to loop back around. Platoon might watch it.
Don't do the side screen. It deserves your attention. It's actually very interesting.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't even deserve to be wiped with your ass.
The reason he's this passionate about it being this shit is because he knows it was fantastic. It could have been the best anime of all time.
Yeah, but Game of Thrones.
If this goes on any longer, I am downloading fucking elevator music and putting it on.
Okay.
No, I told him.
David Gannon for $20. Obi-Wan had enough experience to know the imps would have thrown up checkpoints. He should have guided Luke around them rather than mind controlling a guy. What happened to that trooper when his superiors found out?
Well, presumably he went and reported to his superiors that he didn't find the droids they were looking for. Not a ton of ambiguity with that one. Nothing happened to him because they were just hunting for someone that they thought might be in the general area. They didn't know they were there specifically. So he wouldn't have been punished because the superior wouldn't have known that the people who mind tricked him were the people who mind tricked him. If the alternative is in that scene, you get to that checkpoint. And by the way, it's not a checkpoint because they walk up the street and then they encounter them. So it's not a fixed location. They're scouting and searching. If you get into that situation, your only alternative is lie and hope they believe you and or end up killing them. So again, what exactly is the problem there? All you're doing is telling them that they are not looking for you. That's it. It's a minimal denial of agency to a de facto Nazi.
Is he implying that it's mind rape?
And that seems to be where you take it. And you could certainly use it in that way, but that isn't the way it's used in the scene we're talking about.
But that would make Obi-Wan a mind rapist. And I don't think we want to see that film that way. Because your first lesson, Luke, is mind rape.
Moving on, Istaria Zool for $1.99. Have you actually read the infamous gun tweets? I have. They are infamous. I certainly have.
I would just like to say, if your sense of humor can withstand this panel and you can't withstand James Gunn tweets, I don't know who you are. You might be AI.
I've got them saved.
I have them saved.
One. Well, one is just made a joke about ass raping my friend when she was asleep.
Oh, okay.
Like, that's not the joke.
Jesus
He just said I made a joke about. Another one is 3 men and a baby they had sex with. Hashtag unromantic movie.
I see what
These
he's
are the
trying
James
to
Gunn's
do.
tweets?
Yeah, the tweets he was fired for. Yeah.
The Expendables was so manly, I fucked the shit out of the little pussy boy next to me. The boys are back in town.
That's pretty funny.
Jesus Christ.
Wondering which Disneyland character would be the worst to get raped by. I think it's Goofy, but Sleepy would suck too.
That's so good. The fact that Disney hired him after he tweeted that just makes it even funnier, man.
Oh, that could be a game we play on a future podcast episode. We can actually take that question line seriously. We'll bookmark that as a topic for another episode.
Which American Idol contestant should I rape? Sanjay with 12 votes, followed by Constantine with 3.
Jesus Christ.
That's good. That's good.
That's pretty funny. Oh man,
This is the guy who uses animals for sympathy from his audience in movies. Jesus Christ. Paul Connolly for 10 fake dollars. Hail BSUP. Did you guys hear Ralph Ineson from The Witch has been cast as Galactus? And if so, what are your thoughts? Personally, I think it's great casting as his voice is so distinct. I have no idea if I said his name right.
Don't even know who that is, I don't think.
He'll be a good Galactus voice. His voice is deep.
Okay, what's he?
Is that the dad or whatever?
So in The Witch, he was the dad.
Yeah, he's got the most epic voice in the world.
Yeah. He does have epic. Yeah, it's an epic one.
Dad from The Witch, and he was also in Game of Thrones, and he was also in Nosferatu. Yeah.
Yep.
Lesser character there though.
Tai Fung, member for 23 months. Woo! I want them to release every version they shot of Captain America 4 in the theaters. Yeah. Audiences would have no idea what version they were walking into. A theater seemed like the original Clue movie.
They'd probably make more money doing that. Like, of course, like it's
they probably would.
Solution. Why not? Because people are gonna be curious. YouTubers are gonna go see all 4, and they'll probably make something like that.
Yeah. Hostman's Lounge, our good friends, and Wrench Holder for $4.99. Even if it's mediocre, we shouldn't reward mediocrity. It's like, congrats, you didn't suck as bad as you have. Yeah,
I agree with that sentiment.
True. I feel like you should applaud someone who sucks a little less.
No, you should.
That's how you make them suck even less than they suck currently. You know,
Maybe they'll slow.
Acknowledge it, appreciate it, but I think keep standards high for everything, and not everything is gonna make it. You don't have to.
So no one.
We're not giving anything a pass.
Yeah, nobody gets a free
unless
pass.
it's horror, and then I'll give it all kinds of passes.
Writing is free. It's fucking free. Grab a pen. It's fucking free. So there's no passes ever for me on that.
Yeah, don't tell the union that.
Yeah. Aurora uplinks for $5. We need prequel era Jedi stuff. Too bad we won't get it. I love the idea of them going around crime solving. The Acolyte could have been that for Jedi.
Wasn't that like all of the Clone Wars though? I mean, didn't that have several seasons of Jedi stuff? I mean, it was cartoons and shit, but you got some prequel Jedi stuff there. In live action, yes, but I mean, they did try and do that in the Obi-Wan show, obviously with the flashbacks, which were not good either. And then they did try to do that with the Acolyte when they were temporarily crime solving. So I don't know. I don't really mind which era we're set in. I just want something that's good. That's all I ask for. Even with no Jedi like Andor, that would be fine by me.
Even crime solving for like one episode, Platoon? Like that shit lasted like It was so quick. They revealed the mystery in like the first episode. It was terrible. They've never really did a good investigation in Star Wars. Like it's just, and I would have loved to see Anakin and Obi-Wan, even if they're like de-age them. I don't care. Just show me a mission with those two, and so we can actually believe the bond, because the prequels did not develop the relationship in a way that's, you know, on par with what we're supposed to believe the relationship is. You know, seeing them bond and seeing them go on a mission together, I think would have been really satisfying. Instead, we got Baby Leia.
Investigation, is it like 7? Where they come in, there's a head in the fridge.
Gluttony and everything. I want to see that. That would actually, they would never go that far, but why can't we? You know, take these characters and do something a little bit darker.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that if I didn't see a lightsaber on my screen for the next 15 years, I'd be a better person because of it.
Well, here's the thing. Andor didn't have any lightsabers, and it was pretty good.
Yes.
I'll take Andor.
And it's the best one they did. Yeah, not coincidentally.
Yeah. I'm saying you don't need lightsabers. You just need good writing, because it's not lightsabers that make Star Wars. It's Star Wars. It's a lot of things, but overall, if I summarize it for most people, it's the world. Just there's so much you could do in that world. The mix of fantasy and sci-fi. Do whatever the fuck you want. Just write it well.
In fact, I'm pretty sure that it's actually a hard correlation. The more lightsabers on screen, the worse the thing is.
Yes, the Acolyte.
Yeah, the Acolyte had the most, and it was the worst. Kenobi had the second most, I think, and it was the second worst. Skeleton Crew had 1, and it's probably the second best, and Andor had none, and it's the best. So yeah, no lightsabers. Star Wars with no Jedi. That would be interesting.
Nikki D for $5. Do we know what Marvel plans to do with Kang the Conqueror moving forward in the MCU? Absolutely.
He's gone.
He's getting Batwoman, man. Just Batgirl.
There will be a scene with Robert Downey Jr. walking through a bunch of faceless dead bodies.
That blast them off. Yeah.
Yep.
Kill him if need be. Aurora uplinks again for $2. Thank you. I think Kang will go on a space cruise ship.
I don't know.
Poor Jonathan Majors.
My planet needs me. It's pretty much. Yeah. What are they going to do with Gaia from Secret Invasion? What happened to her? Like the most powerful.
Oh yeah.
In all
God. Last but certainly not least, the Gourd King for $5. Thank you, sir. I think Buzz droids should have attacked the ship's underside and been called the Hemmer droid. Well, that's a nice final super chat. I like that one. Well, that is that's all the super chats, and that is gonna do it for us. But before we move on to ending the show, we need to plug everyone's shit. So starting with Vex, thanks for being on. And what are you up to next, and where can we find you?
Oh, my pleasure. It's always fun hanging out with you guys. Love seeing you all. I'll be on MMM later tonight. We're talking in Bruges. Yeah. But other than that, when I find the time, I'll have another video out. But if not, I'm live every Sunday morning, just reviewing whatever I'd watched that week. So you can catch me there.
Right on. BagFace edits for me, so we're moving on and going to Reaper.
I have my own channel. It's okay.
Fine. All right. BagFace, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for doing your job.
I'm just doing my job. Also, come check out Scene Invaders. We talk about cool things like Severance and Silo. And I talk about how bad they are, and other people talk about how good they are. It's fun.
Oh, what did you think of Silo 2? Because that really annoyed me.
It was so bad. Oh my god!
Did you like the first season?
I liked it. Yep.
Yeah. Basically exactly the same.
I've never seen a show fall off a cliff as hard as that show did, ever,
or as slowly as that show did. It was like a really slow motion fall off.
Brutal.
So I shouldn't watch season 2 then, because I was waiting for it to finish before I watched it.
Read the books. Just read the books.
Okay. What about Severance season 2? Because I'm worried that's going to fall off a ledge.
Good as TV can possibly be. Like, that show is flawless. It is insane.
Okay. I loved season 1. Season 1 was perfect. Like, yeah, I agree with you. No flaws there. Also, we'll back up Scene Invaders is fucking mint.
Yeah, Scene Invaders is mint. And Reaper, where can we find you next, sir? What are you up to?
I stopped making promises because I never keep them. I promise to always be faithful, the usual. I was I've finished Doctor Who, but for some reason I haven't posted it.
For some reason.
Well, it's finished. I just it's there, and I'm like, I can't be bothered. I haven't posted anything like a month either. I've got to do Castlevania Nocturne, and I was like, oh god, it's just gay vampires just bumming for 8 episodes. That's not an understatement either. It's just gay vampires ass fucking. There's no Castlevania in it. There's no Dracula. There's no vampire hunters. It's just gay whiny vampires.
Like they were meant to be, I guess, right? I don't.
I intend to get that out, but I'm a pathological liar. So, whatever.
At least you're honest about it.
Well, that was a lie.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah, if you want to find me, I'm usually in the bushes outside someone's house.
Bitch.
So most likely we'll see you back here on BSUP before you post another video. I hear.
Probably, I'd say that's likely.
All right,
I'm not trustworthy.
Jedi Brooks, what are you up to, sir? Where can we find you?
Hello. Jedi Brooks YouTube. I'm working on a couple of scripts right now. I'm gonna do another top 5 video, like I mentioned, and I just I'm thinking of podcast ideas. I've been procrastinating on that for like the longest time, but when the time is right, it's definitely one is going to be list oriented. My most successful video is my Ironheart video, and for the last like 2 years, I've been getting like once a week. Oh, you can't say that. It's not her movie. You can't talk about Riri Williams because it's not her movie, and I completely reject that. So I've come up with a list of characters in the MCU that had the same amount of screen time as Riri Williams in terms of their introduction. And I'm going to compare that entire list on a podcast so we can see if we can discuss everyone's introduction and character work within that same frame amount of time and see what was achieved and compare it to her. Because I'm not a fan of the idea that it's not their movie, therefore you can't judge them. Why was Thanos the best part of Infinity War? Why was T'Challa so great in Civil War? It shits on the entire concept of a good cameo. And I'm not even kidding. Someone just, like, as I looked at my phone, was messaging, oh, you can't talk about Riri. Like, I get it every fucking day. I'm tired of it. I'm going back.
The more interesting characters in the entire MCU are like Hawkeye and Black Widow, who until after Endgame didn't ever have their own movie to talk about.
Exactly. Right. It shits on all those characters. There's so many things wrong with it that I feel like I can't just reply to these comments anymore. I actually have to like address it live in a podcast at some point. So that's going to be definitely something I plan for the near future. So look out for that.
No, definitely looking forward to any videos you pump out, dude. Your content's fantastic. So
thanks, dude.
That uncle comment, I found it something interesting because being the racist uncle is what people used to have. But being racist now is very difficult because everyone online says the N-word and it's nothing. So you have to actually do your research to be a racist uncle. You can't just because I was looking at that comment, uncle, and I was having this conversation before, and I was going, you can't just come in and say like the N-word. You've got to talk about like why are Jews kicked out of 109 countries?
Yeah,
like,
you got to go harder these days.
You've got to be way harder to be racist nowadays. Anyway, continue.
Okay.
I'm so lost now. Platoon, what are you doing?
What the fuck am I doing? Stuff. Lots of stuff is happening. I took a break from the very long Arcane script, and I watched Section 31, which fucking no. So I did a really. It's awful. And the video, if I ever do a video, which I probably will, because I did a tiny script by my standards, which is only 35 minutes long, is going to be called the worst movie of 2025, because I don't think we will actually get worse than Section 31. It's really, really fucking just bad in every conceivable way.
Right here.
I've heard a lot of bad things about that movie.
Yeah, I've heard
it's just it's like, imagine all the worst qualities of a superhero movie, a heist movie, and an action movie, and a science fiction movie. Take your least favorite tropes and all of them, mash them together, and you have Section 31. Complete waste of time and money, but that will probably be a second channel video, which might one day come out. Otherwise, there's other stuff. I was on Capital Opinions channel yesterday. We broke down Emilia Perez, that was an experience. Go check that out, or take drugs because it'll make more sense. And then back to the Arcane thing that will continue to be worked on
one day.
Cap, he also had, I think, like a week or two before he went on it, he had a breakdown of Nosferatu, and he's one of the few people who I've seen like actually rip into it and break down like the issues with it. So if anyone wants like a negative or a different perspective rather than just the praise that I'm seeing everywhere for it, Cap actually had a really good breakdown on it. So same podcast. Give him a little plug there.
Yeah, Capital O stuff is awesome. As far as what BagFace and I are up to next, we are doing a video finally on celebrities who self-destruct and just implode their careers, and that's should be out, but probably by BSUP next week. So, other than that, I just want to thank the panel for coming on. You guys are all awesome. I really appreciate all of you guys hopping on the show. And thank you to the chats. I think a few more super chats came in. We can't leave them hanging. I'll snag them. Aurora uplinks for $5. Jedi detectives using the Force and not lightsaber battling could work though.
And even having to hide the fact that they have the Force. Like there's so many ways you can play with it, man.
You can have a killer with the Force that strangles people, leaving no evidence.
Yeah, there's so many things you could do, man. This is why like Predator, like Alien, like Terminator, there's certain concepts that as long as you like, we're always going to be there to try it. But Star Wars has just got beaten to the ground so badly by all the shows that it's just hard, you know?
Yeah. Aurora uplinks for $2 more, chiming in again with using abilities to track and technology to help. Too.
The problem is they've sort of established it because in Ahsoka there is the bit where she has to go and try and piece back together what happened in the tower the night before, and she just walks onto the scene and uses the Force, and the evidence just jumps at her. So it's kind of like it's hard to be a detective when you've got that power.
Indiana Jones Ahsoka, yeah, I remember that. That was so crap. We thought it was actually going to be an investigation, and she's just like, you walk right in, and it's just stage one. It's so stupid. They didn't have any creative ideas when it came to that.
Martin Perubu for $10 just wanted to say that everything is dog poop.
True.
A lot of things are. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much to chat, and thank you everyone who sent in super chats and stuck around to watch us every Monday. We appreciate the hell out of you guys. And that'll do it for this week. So we will see you next time. Platoon, you got the button.
I have the button. I'm pressing the button. Bye.
Bye.